Yo. We back again. You know we never slacking off. Judah Ben. Yo. Ladies and gents, get prepared for another greater event. If you never linked, then make an attempt. On Fridays, there's really no other way to be spent. Tune in, hit the link, and leave likes and comments. Welcome to TD Sports Talk. Here we bring sports and entertainment weekly. They break it down deeply. Come peep me as I spit, leave most confused. Pay attention while I introduce the host and crew. Starting off, we got Tommy the host. He plugged in, his predictions transparent like a ghost. Yo, I think that he been doing this the most. He first joined in March 2013. His resume was first seen. Then we got the co-host, Mr. Socrates. His analogy surgical like a doctor squeeze. The live show was nasty like a dirty beer. Tommy and Sock, they've been friends for over 30 years. Peep me, we got the final host D-Free from out of DC. You need to wake up, you sleepy. If you checking out the live and you feel the vibes, like the video, subscribe, get notified. Take a picture cause this moment should be polarized. Tommy's legacy and resume is notarized. Whether it's Friday or Saturday, he going live. Click the bell and I promise you'll get notified. Yeah. Welcome to TD Sports Talk. Friday and Saturday. Tune in. They're going live late. Word them up. Shout out to Tommy, Socrates, D-Free. Word them up, word them up. Judah Ben. Yo. Tell a friend or tell a friend, son.
Coming with you, Camp of the World. Shout out to TD Sports. TD Sports. Let's go check. Yo, what is good? What is good? Welcome to another edition of Friday. Nope, it's Thursday night sports talk today because tomorrow night is a big event here in New York, down in Times Square. We got some big fights tomorrow night, Saturday afternoon / evening, then Saturday night, and then we got fights on Sunday as well. It is a major weekend as far as the sport of boxing is concerned. And I figured, you know what? I didn't want it to go to waste because we haven't been doing too many shows, but I'm trying to be more active here at the Sports Talk Network. I'm trying to, put out my lives weekly like I've been doing every Friday night. So tonight we're just going to do this one time on a Thursday because we got fights tomorrow. And we're going to be back also Saturday. I got a lot going on. I got some interviews lined up this weekend, definitely Saturday. I got some prospects. One of the ones, I've had him on multiple times. He'll be with us most likely Saturday. And then I got a new prospect that's making his debut June 21st. We'll discuss a little bit about that a little bit later on in the show. But first things first, let me just welcome in my co-host, my man D-Free. D-Free, what is good? What is good? How you been?
Good? I'm chilling. What's good?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Let me get rid of this overlay so we can see us on the screen. Yeah, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm fired up for these fights. I still don't know if I'm gonna actually go to Times Square or not. I'm really debating it. I want to go. I want to be in the atmosphere because at first I thought it was going to be like a bubble covering the ring, but it looks like it's not. It's going to be like a gate, keeping everybody away. Very interested to see how they're going to do with the people that actually get inside the gate and have seating and stuff. It's going to be an event. It's going to be crazy. The atmosphere is going to be bananas, bro. So, but first things, before we continue, let me see who's in the building. And as people come through, I'll try to shout people out. And D-Free popped off, but I'm sure he'll pop back on. My man, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, what's good with you? Salute to you. The OG, Mr. Mont, salute to you, man. Thank you for coming through. My man, CDK Sports Talk Network, what is good with you? Thanks for coming through. Salute. My man, Anthony Bolton, what's good? What's good? I don't know how you felt about your draft last week. We didn't really get to cover it here much with your Cowboys, but salute to you for coming through. My man, Steven, man, what's good, Steven, man? What's going on, bro? It's been a minute. Hope everything is well with you. Salute to you watching us on Facebook. And of course, my man DP Rocker is in the building. Was good, was good. Salute, salute. So yeah, real quick. So big fight tomorrow night. I'm still, like I said earlier, I'm debating if I want to go or not. There's a good chance I could still maybe get it. There's a slight chance I still could get a credential. Kind of waiting until tomorrow morning to see if somebody could hook me up or not. We're trying to, nothing's definite, but yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, man, what do you think about the event tomorrow? I mean, I know you're not too far. You're in DC, but what do you think?
Um, I mean, I hear everybody is super excited. It would have been more exciting for me if it was open to the public, but being though that it's only a select 300 people, um, and it's pretty much closed to the public. I mean, it's like, okay, I understand what y'all doing. Y'all don't want to be bum rush, but at the same token, like I said, it should have been open to the public. Now, it didn't have to be free. They could have made it where you had to pay for it, but at least you can get a ticket to go there because it's supposed to be a historic event. Well, the way you make it a historic event, you make it open to the public so people can be a part of the historic event. Like I said, it's only a select few that can go.
Yeah, there's only a few and some media. I heard they did give out tickets that could that for people to actually get in. A friend of mine, Johnny Boy, who you spoke to a couple times, he does media. He was telling me that somebody won like a raffle or some type of they were giving out some type of thing or whatever out in Times Square, and he won like 3 tickets to sit with the other 300 people that are invited. I guess so. I guess they're giving away tickets for seating as far as inside, I guess that gated area because I only seen it from pictures. I forgot to download the pictures. I'll put them in later on as the show goes on, but it looks pretty intense. I mean, all the pictures I've seen obviously is during the day with the light, so not sure how it's gonna look in the evening. But the card is supposed to start early, so based off what I've been seeing on like Blue Blood and other channels that were reporting and that's been there, I know that Teofimo is the opening of the three main events. So Teofimo and Barboza, they're supposed to be in a ring around 6:15. So there are two other fights before it. There is an NYPD versus Fire Department, NYFD, I guess that's how you say it. They got a match, a three round amateur lightweight, I believe, contest. And then there's this Japanese fighter that's making his debut. I believe it's a 6 rounder. Don't quote me on that. So those are two fights. So I would imagine that the whole event might start around 5:30 ish. So people coming out of work around 5 o'clock on a Friday, it's going to be pretty intense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be you got a lot of tourists that are going to be walking around there, not knowing what's going to go on.
Yeah,
From what I've seen in this week, Hearn has been out there, De La Hoya have been there. Not many people will pick up on who these guys are. They just see a big boxing ring, not knowing. Only people that are big boxing heads like me, you, and obviously the media people that's been out there. So they've been walking freely. I saw Usyk was out there walking like nothing, and nobody really knew who he was unless, like I said, you're a boxing guy. You know who Usyk is. So it's crazy. But Crawford's here, Conor Ben. There's a lot of people out here. It's gonna be pretty intense as far as like the crowd. It's gonna be like New Year's Eve, but with a lot of celebrities walking around as far as boxing is concerned.
right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's always cool for the fans to be able to meet some of the fighters if you do get a chance to see any of them and recognize any of them. Because a lot of times you don't really recognize them in regular clothes because you're so used to seeing them in boxing gloves and shorts. Until so you look at him like that, he looked familiar. I know him from somewhere, but you can't really put the two together. And then some of them you do recognize because they are a global star. So it's cool for a lot of the people to be able to meet some of the boxers.
Yeah, definitely. And to interact with them, obviously, you got to be very respectful. A lot of factors go into it as far as the fights going are concerned. It looks like it's not going to rain tomorrow. At first, I thought it might rain. Like rain was scheduled. I think rain is going to start on Saturday. and it's going to be raining for like days here supposedly. But not sure the temperature. Like at night, it tends to be cooler. You know how these fighters are going to adapt to like the not just the atmosphere, you know, and
Yeah.
big lights. And I mean, this is real New York City lights, right? You know, but the temperature as well. If it's going to be cool, windy, or whatever. But before we continue and talk about the fights, I got a special guest here, and I know he's gonna hate that I said he's a special guest, but he's a special guest because he's a special guy. I got the host of Ring Talk Worldwide, my man Pedro Fernandez. What's going on? Special guest.
You make me sound like I need special ed.
Nah, you don't need special ed, man. You
I
but
graduated.
you are special.
I graduated from special ed. Listen,
Yeah.
hey, there's my buddy Devin Haney on the screen there.
Don't start with Devin Haney. We're not going to allow any Devin Haney slander here. You know, as you said that, you know, Crush the Legend. This is a guy. He be doing some Devin Haney slandering as well. Salute to you, Crush. No Devin Haney slandering, right? Unless you're going to slander Ryan Garcia.
Well, you know, listen, Ryan Garcia is a piece of work. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of his act is real and how much is crazy. Do you?
Wait, say that again. How much what?
I don't know how much of his act is real or crazy.
I think he's got some screws loose. I mean, he seemed to be a little bit more level-headed this fight, right? He hasn't really been out of control, but you know, the media or whoever they have there playing the media role have not asked the difficult questions to this guy. You know, they kind of let him off the hook for a lot of the stuff that he's done.
Tommy D, there is no media.
Exactly. I was trying to be nice.
I think Mauricio Simon can get away with the shit that he gets away with myself, and Phil Berger with the New York Times, and Mike Marley with the New York Post, and I go on and on. Mike Katz with the Daily News. They couldn't get away with that crap back in the day because we put them on the spot.
Yeah.
And the journalists don't put people on the spot anymore. In fact, Bill Haney showed me what today's journalism is all about as far as the boxing world is concerned. He invited a bunch of YouTubers to a press conference. That's what he called this press conference. Listen, I wish those guys the best. I mean, I don't want to see them. I take it back. If you run into Devin Haney and his father, do it with a truck.
Wow, that's messed up. That's messed up. Pedro, you said that he invited some YouTubers, but most of the people that's doing media are YouTubers. That's not the people that invited. I mean, these are people that Matchroom, Golden Boy, the Sheik, or whoever, they invited these guys.
I get that, but Bill Haney did was he got himself a group, and I watched it. Okay, he groomed these people. He wasn't letting anybody ask any questions that were even slightly challenging. He sort of had everybody in the room as his buddy, and that's not the way to do it. I hate to say it, man, but as a reporter, I don't want promoters and matchmakers like I do my friends. I mean, I'm there to report on them. Nobody's reporting on these guys anymore.
But that goes for everybody, Pedro. It's not just those handful of guys. I mean, not one person in the media asked, and I'm talking about the guys that Turkey put in it, like the guy Coppinger, whatever his name is. You know, that guy Douglas Fisher. Like those guys don't ask the tough questions, and they don't make the right comments. They don't do their jobs either.
Doug Fisher's on the payroll.
He's always been on the payroll.
Time out. Now you may be a little indifferent, and I may be a little indifferent, but I've called the boss on shit like that before. I mean, Don King said to me one time. Don King said to me, Pedro, people ask me why I have you around. You kick my ass off. It's better to have you pissing from inside the tent than have you pissing outside the tent in. I don't know what that meant. Bottom line is that's what DK was.
Yeah, but no, I think they let, Devin Haney has been embraced the role of being the bad guy. And you got the fans booing him, but nobody's, letting, everybody seems to let Ryan Garcia off the hook. This guy made statements, but hold up.
The reason why I think Ryan Garcia gets off the hook is that he kicked Devin Haney. That's why. And whether you want to admit it or not, okay, Devin Haney may be a decent boxer, but as far as its value as a prize fighter is concerned, he you can't take a punch, you can't throw a punch. You have a limited amount. You have a limited shelf life. Okay, and I think he's outlived his shelf life already. And I'm being nice.
Wow. Well, what about the comments? What about the comments that Ryan Garcia's made, and they haven't asked him once about it? The whole
Have no idea. Listen, man. Here's what's up. If I was Doug Fisher and I was the head of Ring Magazine, and the Sheik took over, and the Sheik's probably giving me $500 million a year or something like that, I don't know if I still don't know if I could blow him for that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these guys are willing to blow these guys for that money. I couldn't do it.
But you in your day, poison pen, right? That's what they called you, poison pen Pedro. You would have wrote an article about it, and you would have roasted them on, and you would let them have it for the things.
But I would have also called them on the phone and given them the opportunity to have some input.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? That's the way I did things. I would listen when I would kick people's ass. They knew it was coming because I called them and told them.
I see.
I mean, here's what's up. You know, you fix these fights. How can you say that I fixed these fights? Well, I've got 2 witnesses who said that. And they both sworn under oath. Blah 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 blah. You know, things like so. How are you going to comment on that? I'm not going to comment on it. Okay, I understand at that point in time. Okay, but no, you gotta call people. You got to call people and put them on the spot, whether it's the president, whether it's Tommy D, or whether it's me. I mean, if we do something off the wall, we need to be called on it.
Absolutely. And I think the media today, they should at least call these guys out, or at least ask them about it, or, you know, they do it in other sports. In other sports, it's done. Other sports, they say, hey, what about this comment you made about?
Because there's still real reporters.
In those sports. Yeah, not in boxing.
Baseball, well, here's what's up. It's designed that way. Don't you understand? It's designed that way. Now Mauricio issues press releases, and people believe the crap he releases when you and I know that Oshaki Foster Canseco fight, if it wasn't fixed, those were the 2 worst judges in the history of all boxing.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I agree. You know, so that's what I'm saying. There's no accountability.
And exactly, and that got us thrown off WBC TV. Hey, Mauricio, you hearing that? We don't care.
He doesn't.
You pull some punk ass shit on us, but guess what? We're still telling the truth. You're still a fat guy.
Yeah.
All the money she gives him, and all the money she wants to give him, all the walking he does, the dude does miles of walk. I mean, he walks like a marathon each day. It ain't working.
No,
it ain't working. But in the meantime, see the WBC or the world of Bunko and Chicanery, or We Beat Canelo, whatever you want to call them, they're a family-run organization, you guys. There's like about 8 or 10 people in the Suleiman family of different generations that run that whole thing. And that thing's got to be made. I'm telling you, I think from my guesstimates with the Saudi Arabia money and this kind of stuff, that they're making in excess of $5 million a year easily.
Yeah, probably.
Easily.
Yeah.
With private jets and all that shit too.
But let me ask you, would his father ever would allow any of this stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, his father was nefarious. Listen, his father had me around because I was absolutely friggin' honest, and he knew it. And when he stripped Graciano Roccattini of the light heavyweight championship, gave it to Roy Jones because he wanted Roy Jones to be his champion. I told him in Mexico City, I said to him, Jose, I said, listen, I need to talk to Pedro on this. I don't know. So I said, listen, if you strip this dude and give the title to Roy Jones, WBC is going to get sued. I know you haven't faced too many lawsuits and lost money in the past, but you will lose money on this one. If you take away a man's right to earn a living, and you're going to get banged up. You're going to get banged up in court. So anyway, he got hit for $10 million in regular damages and $24 million in punitive damages because Suleiman Senior was actually fooled in court. $24 million in punitive damage, you guys. That's when you slap somebody around afterwards. No, that's what the judge did. When you punitive damages is like post trial slapping.
Wow. So they ended up giving the title to Jones.
They gave the title to Roy Jones, and the WBC went into bankruptcy. They were sued. All kinds of shit went down. They settled for like $30 million. And then Roccattini, Graciano Roccattini, according to Socrates Palmer, boxing's PhD, He stepped out in front of a car.
He stepped out in front of a car?
He's dead.
Wow.
I mean, he stepped out in front of a car. I mean, how many people? Now, Sweet Pea Whitaker was drunk as a skunk. He staggered out in front of a car.
Jesus Christ.
Don't laugh, man. Sweet Pea listen, when Sweet Pea was in his prime, and he'd been out there drunk, he'd have been maybe twice as he might have been so much better. It was unbelievable. When I used to go to a sparring session, I would smell booze. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was. Check this out. I thought it was Lou Duva. All right, wow. and then I thought it was George Benton, because the last one I thought it was going to be is Purnell.
No. And where was it? Where was this at? Was that in Virginia? Did you go, or
this was in Florida?
In Florida, okay. Wow. So speaking of Purnell, why don't you tell us a story about you and the bet you made with the ex Oakland Raider?
Oh, Jack Tatum. Jack Tatum. He'll never apologize for the way he played football. He almost killed Darryl Stingley. I don't know if you saw that, but he almost killed Darryl Stingley. He says he's sorry that Stingley got hurt, but that's just the way it is. Okay. So when me and him, we had the Chavez Whitaker fight. And after 10 rounds, I just got up and gave him my money. I said, that's it. I said, even if Chavez wins the last 2 rounds, he ain't gonna win this fight. Okay? So I went and gave him the money, and then they called it a draw, and I went over and got my money back. Motherfucker, how can you take this money back? I said, man, it's a draw. It's like a point spread. You know, like a point spread.
Wow. So that's how far up you thought Whitaker won the fight, and they still.
Yeah, and this was when Whitaker fought De La Hoya, he got burned that night. I'm not.
I thought he beat De La Hoya.
I'm not trying to bogart you guys' time, Master D. But when he fought De La Hoya, he got jobbed. He knocked De La Hoya down. And then this is what started the rift between me and Todd the Cokehead, the Buff. No, hey, I told you I sat across from him ringside one night, and he hit his nose 42 times in a 12 round fight. Watch me. I counted them. I'm a private investigator. Wow. This is what I do. I count people's weird shit.
Wow.
Well, he did that 42 times in a 12 round fight. That's a lot of times around.
Wow.
You know. So anyway, Todd the Buff is. But anyway, that night, Todd the Buff, he was in an elevator. I told him, I said, you know, Oscar got beat up, blah 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 blah, and he played some shit. I said, you know what, man? I said, it's a good thing you got security with you. And I was serious.
Wow.
Fuck that punk ass. Okay. And his punk ass, and his sister, that.
Be nice.
I know. That's why you caught me. You caught me. Anyway, she brought Hulk Hogan to a press conference. Hulk Hogan just got, and he was involved in all the steroids back in the 90s. Okay.
Yeah.
We brought him to a George Foreman fight, George Foreman and Alex Stewart, I think, in Las Vegas, and it was all news. You know, the hot news that Hogan was being accused of using steroids, right? So I walked up to him at the press conference, said to pull out my tape recorder. I said, "Blood, what's going on with steroids?" or something like that, right? And Dina the Buff jumps on me, jumps in between, goes, "You can't ask him questions like that." I said, "What the hell is this?" I said, "What is he here for? This is a press conference." I said, "You brought him to a press conference."
Yeah.
I said, "Because none of these other punk ass, I didn't say that, you know what I mean? These other punk ass guys don't want to ask them the questions that need to be asked them. I'm asking them." You know?
No.
Anyway, Hulk Hogan, he got mad because I called him Mr. Balea.
Oh, that's his real name.
Yeah. He don't like that though. I'm the fucking Hulk, man. I wish the Iron Sheik would have broke his leg. The Iron Sheik had a chance.
Yeah, he had like what? Was he offered money from?
Was it Vern Gagne?
Or Vern Gagne? Yeah.
Somebody offered him some money, but he didn't do it. He should have broke.
If it wasn't for him, yeah, he could have ruined everything.
Well, I don't know if he could have ruined everything, you guys, but when they killed kayfabe, that's what killed wrestling. Just did, in my opinion. But yeah. I want to sit down. I want to believe this shit for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Even during the commercials, I want to believe it. Even during the commercial, go, fuck.
Yeah.
And it ain't the storylines that used to be. They would carry you from 1 week to another. You know what I'm saying? It's like a soap opera, this and that. And ever since they said that wrestling was fake, sort of lost that. I mean, I knew it wasn't real. I mean, you couldn't go out there and get killed 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
You know, I figured that out when those dudes, when I was Tommy D, I found out these guys were wrestling in Sacramento the night after they wrestled in San Francisco. The same dudes, the same match. That's when I sort of got hip that something was up. I was about 13 or 14. I said to myself, something might be up here.
So you got any? So let's talk about the fights tomorrow. Any interest? Or you're intrigued by the fights? You're intrigued by the event itself?
I think. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. I think that I think it's going to be an event. I don't know if there's going to be too much competition involved. I think the closest fight is Teofimo Lopez and the other guy is 2.5 to 1 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, besides the Teofimo Barboza might be the closest as far as competitor. I mean, all the fights are decent competitive, but you know that it's basically they're telling you that these are tune-up fights. Yeah. Right, Ryan Garcia's in a tune-up fight and Devin Haney's in a tune-up fight because they're gonna fight each other later on if they both win. That's what they're telling you. That's what the event is basically telling you. Yeah, even the commercial.
I can't make 122 or Noah would be beating me up. Okay,
what?
I said to Noah, if I could make 122, he'd be beating me up. In other words, all they're doing is looking to make appearances this week. Okay? The Japanese guy's going to make an appearance in Las Vegas. His Valenzuela shouldn't offer too much difficulty to him. And of course, Canelo Alvarez is going to get some skull down there in Saudi Arabia. Don't laugh about that because when I was working as a cop, I remember when the girl said, "I gave that guy skull for $20."
Jesus. So let's
wait, time out. Am I going to get you in trouble on YouTube here? I'm sorry.
No, you're not saying anything crazy. Okay. No, not yet. Not yet, at least. You're not.
Come on, Master D. Tell me. I mean, if I'm getting out of the line here, please.
Nah. You're good. You're good. What I was gonna say. So let's go through the card. So let's start. Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza. Who wins and why? And then D-Free, you go next.
I think the Lopez should win because he's probably the better fighter. But you never know with his psychological status where he's at as far as his head's concerned. And his father, there are a couple of head cases. I thought his father was doing blow during that one fight. Why would you be dancing between rounds when your son's getting slapped around? I mean, that never got that. I mean, my mother wouldn't be out there dancing the jig if I was getting my ass whooped. But yet he did. So I don't know psychologically if he's. Some guys just aren't built between the ears for this. They got the skills, women like that. Somehow there's something missing between the 2 ears. And Teofimo might be that guy. I don't know how good Barboza is. Anyway, Master D, what do you think of the fight?
D-Free?
Yeah. I think Aaron Barboza, it all depends on what style of fight. If Aaron Barboza come in there and very emotional and try to push the fight to Tio, he's fighting in Tio's style of fighting. Tio's more of a counter puncher. He fights better as a counter puncher than a come forward fighter. If Barboza can make Tio come forward, Barboza has a better chance because he fights better than Tio. He fights better on the back foot than Tio fights coming forward.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what style is going to be pushed in this fight. So if Barboza can keep his emotion under wraps and make Tio come after him, I think Barboza can pull this fight out. I just don't know if Barboza is mentally strong enough to be able to do it. And the thing is, like, Tio could come in there and be overlooking Barboza. He's having a lot of mental issues going on right now. We don't know what's going on with Tio. I've never seen Tio this out of character. And we always see little antics from Tio, but never to this extent. Like, he's way out of character. So I don't really know what's going on with Tio, but I would favor Tio in this fight because I don't know if Barboza can keep his mental on the wrap and make Tio come after him.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think, and then another thing, Tio tends to fight down to the competition as well. Now, Barboza, Barboza, I think he'll be up for the Barboza fight as far as, like, not like when he fought Claggett like last year, and he won that fight, but he didn't really look too impressive to me. So I think he'll be up for Barboza. I got to favor Tio. Barboza, first time in a big fight under the big lights. I mean, this is something different for everybody on the card. I can imagine somebody like Barboza that's never really been in a main event like this. I mean, yeah, he went to the UK and he beat Catterall in his backyard, but this is different, So I favor Tio in this fight. I could see Tio getting a knockdown in this fight too. And I don't think Barboza's a chump. I think he's not getting knocked out. But I like Tio in this fight. I saw Barboza live last year against this Irish guy McComb, and he didn't look good at all. I thought he lost the fight, and they gave him the decision. I thought he lost. So I'm not a fan of Tio, but I think Tio wins this fight. So, and on cue, I got my buddy Dub right side. What's good, Dub? How's everything?
Man, salute to my brother Tommy, man, from the Bronx. Salute to everybody on the panel. My brother Free, Pedro in the building, man. Salute. Pedro, the man still ain't paid me my money, man. He still ain't paid me my money. Anyway, that's a whole other story.
Wait. Time out. Time out. I used to don't owe people any money. So how do I owe you some money?
No, not you.
He's he made a bet with somebody a while ago, and the guy still hasn't paid him his money. So every time he comes on, he reminds everybody.
Dub, why don't you spell his name out and then I'll say
it. ATL Unanimous Boxing. You ain't got to say it. I'll say it for you.
You better pay your bills, man, before I start talking.
Y'all gonna get me canceled, man. You out of order, Dub right side.
No.
I usually am.
If you don't want to pay, we'll say his name on the air and then flush the toilet.
That's it.
He'll get tired. Believe me, he'll get tired of that. He'll probably end up paying. You do a few toilet runs on a dude, he'll pay you the money.
Hey, I can't. He ain't showing up no more. He done ran, man. He ain't pulling up on the panels. He ain't in the chats. He ain't nowhere to be found, man. I said they do some crazy stuff right here.
Oh man.
Real quick, I heard y'all talking about the Tio Barboza fight.
Yeah, we started talking about the fight. So that's the first fight. Go ahead.
Man, I like this fight a lot. The problem is, in my opinion, and I'm not a huge fan of Tio, Arnold Barboza is tailor-made for Tio. He's gonna walk forward. He's gonna try to apply pressure. He want to throw some big shots. You got to make Tio be first to beat Tio. That's when he struggles. You know what I'm saying? If you can fight him at mid-range, take half steps back, those type of things against him, turn him, then you may have a chance to beat him. But if you're just gonna walk through the front door, Tio, he gonna embarrass you. You know what I'm saying? And so
then how did he lose to George Kambosos? I don't think George Kambosos would beat any of the four of us.
Hey, look, I would, and I agree with you on that. That fight against George Kambosos, me personally, I got him losing possibly 3 fights right now. 2 of them, the other 2 would be not outside of Kambosos. I thought he lost against Jermaine Ortiz. I thought he lost against Ocampo as well. And Sandor Martin. I forgot about Sandor Martin. Do I still
have it?
Yeah, and I mean, Tio, he all right. He all right. I just don't. I think he's athletic. I think he talked too much. I don't think he as disciplined as he needs to be. I think he's more about selling than anything else. So, but I still think that when Barboza is coming forward, Tio's going to be able to counter, keep his head off the line, that type of thing. Has the better footwork. Will be able to turn Barboza. I'm rooting for Arnold. I'm rooting for Barboza myself, but at the same time, I think Tio wins that fight.
Yeah, but how can you say that he lost to Kambosos? I mean, this is what kills me. I mean, Kambosos, I mean that, you guys. Kambosos couldn't whoop any of us. I mean, he just couldn't. He's terrible. He couldn't win the New York Golden Gloves novice division.
Man, lost to Maxie Hughes, man. He got a robbery victory against Maxie.
He got a gift in that fight. A total gift against Maxie Hughes. That was a joke. All right, let's go on to the next fight of this triple fight. Pedro is not allowed to comment on this fight, so I'm going to start with Dub. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez.
Oh no, why Pedro can't come? No, So, in my personal opinion, in this situation, I think Jose Ramirez, great fighter. You know what I'm saying? Unified champion. I just think Devin got too many skills for him. He gonna sit there, utilize the jab. I don't think Ramirez is gonna be fast enough. I don't think his footwork is gonna be good enough, and I think Devin makes easy work of him.
Speed.
D-Free, you go next because I know Pedro's itching to say something.
Speed wins this fight. Speed wins this fight, and Devin Haney wins this fight. I don't think much of Ramirez. Another guy, I don't think he can fight much.
Okay.
I think this is a very interesting fight because it's a lot of questions that's in the air. We saw how Ramirez looked against Aaron Barbosa. He's coming off the loss to Aaron Barbosa, and that was a fight that Aaron Barbosa just made Ramirez look amateur. But the thing is there any lingering effect from the Ryan Garcia with Devin Haney? Because Ramirez has a big left hook too. It's not as quick as Ryan's, but it's a big left hook. If he gets caught with that shot, does he shell up? Does he start to have relapses of the Ryan Garcia fight? Those are the questions that I have. I think that he will overcome it. He looks confident going into this fight, but those looks can be deceiving because he can look confident, but who knows what happened when he gets hit again? I mean, we saw Deontay Wilder look confident, and then he went in there and didn't throw any punches when he fought Joseph Parker. So, I mean, I just don't know how much effect does that Ryan Garcia fight have on Devin Haney. I will favor Devin Haney because I think Ramirez at this point, he look like he's on the decline. He doesn't look like he's getting any better. It looked like he's pretty much plateaued when he fought Josh Taylor, and ever since then he hasn't looked the same since. So I will favor Devin Haney, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some lingering effect and Ramirez can pull it out.
Okay. Real quick, let me give a shout out to Mandub Rightside. With the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, $10. Salute to my brother. Appreciate you having me on the show. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you for coming through and talking some boxing with us. So to add to what D Free says before Pedro goes in on Devin Haney, I agree with
on Devin Haney. Listen, I'm not going to go in. Devin Haney probably wins this fight on speed alone. Okay, the other guy, I mean, he's an okay fighter, but Devin Haney's got speed. Speed kills. The only thing that can equalize speed is a bad chin. That's it.
Yeah. So and what D Free was saying on top of that was that he doesn't know how that chin may be after the fight last year. I personally think he'll be fine. I think the year off helped. I think he's taking his fight very seriously. He's had some good work in the camps. I know two of the fighters that I speak to. One I'm going to have on the show hopefully next week. He's had this kid Aaron Aponte from Orlando, Florida, who's a solid young prospect, and then he had Kane Sandoval, who's another good lightweight at 140. So who kind of mimicked Jose Ramirez in his camp, up in Big Bear. So I think he had a great camp. He looked in great shape. So I expect Devin Haney to win this fight easy. I don't think he's going to stop Jose Ramirez like I've been hearing. I just don't think he has the pop that people says he does. I think he's a great boxer, and I think he's going to outpoint him, and this will be a 10 round or 2 type of fight for Devin Haney. Jose, Pedro,
real quick. Go ahead. I want to ask a question after Pedro go. I want to ask a question.
No, I'm good, man. I think speed wins this fight. It's one. Listen, Big Bear. You mentioned Big Bear, California. That was De La Hoya's training camp. Conk West was there. I spent a lot of time there. Got drunk one night with Emmanuel. We did karaoke, right?
You and Emmanuel Stewart?
Stewart did karaoke. We did My Way together. That Frank Sinatra song?
Yeah.
We were drunk as a skunk, you guys. I mean, drunk as a skunk. We did it the next day. So I can't remember what the kid's name was, but he was real hot prospect. And he put the VHS tape into the machine. And me and Emmanuel were sitting there, right? And watch it sit. So I'm watching about 3 or 4 minutes of this. The internet's happening at this point in time. The internet's coming into play, right? I reached up, I went over there, grabbed that piece of tape, I crushed it in about 1,000 pieces, man. You'll never see that tape. Me and Emmanuel acting a fool.
Oh man, that would be good to see right now. What was that, like 30 years ago?
Yeah, maybe it would, but no. Listen. That was the only time I think we've known each other a long time, and that was I think it was the only time we ever got drunk together.
Hey, some things are made to be for that moment alone. Everything ain't got to be put out there for the public, man. Everything got to be put out there for the public.
I miss him. You guys saw him on TV and trained fighters in corners and did this thing on HBO. He was so much more than just the Emmanuel Stewart that you know. I mean, he knew politics, he knew science, he knew nutrition. I mean, the man was like a genius, you guys. He just was. And, he started. Somebody told me he was selling Fuller brushes. Remember? I don't know if you guys remember that, but he used to go door to door and sell brushes. He used to sell stuff door to door. That's how before he got the prompt thing going, that's how he made his money.
I ain't mad at it.
He was a hell of a hustler. I miss him. The Goldfather, may he rest in peace.
R.I.P. to the great brother, man. R.I.P. to him. I wanted to ask this question, though, and you just brought up Big Bear. We see Devin training up there with, what's my brother's name, man?
Shane Mosley.
Shane Mosley, thank you. And one of the things I listen to Shane Mosley talk about is, and Devin, the mechanics of punching, how you can get more power out of your punches if you're throwing the right shot or if you're throwing your shots the right way. Do y'all think that him going through the mechanics with somebody like Shane Mosley, possibly one of the great pound for pound punchers, in my personal opinion, with him working with him on mechanics, do y'all think that could help him to be a tad bit more powerful in the ring?
Can I go first with some of the old man?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he has to have confidence. You got to have confidence in your hands. You just have to have confidence in what you throw. And I think if Devin Haney learned how to let that hand go and not be so concerned with bringing it back.
Yeah, I agree with Pedro. Also, when you working on that, that's not something that you learn in one fight because that's changing what you always done before. So you're changing what he's used to doing. So it's going to take some time before we see any of that result. If it does changes anything, it's going to take some time because you're changing what he's already used to. And we all know whatever you're used to doing, when things start to go a little south, you revert back to what you're used to doing.
Under stress, you go back to what you get.
Yeah, that's a very, very, those are both good answers, and I tend to agree with them. I would just ask the question of that. Do you think this is the right opponent to maybe, work that in? Because maybe by a second fight, which is going to be the Garcia fight, if he wins, would that help him? Like maybe not this fight so much, but would it translate into the second fight, or is the same theory, he could revert back to what he's always done, as far as how to throw a punch? Because basically that's what he's saying. He's showing him how to throw a punch, I guess, properly.
But here's what you see. If you watch Haney work the pads and this stuff, he doesn't punch through his target. He punches at his target. You know what I'm saying? You don't try to punch through him. The way I was taught is that you always punch through. You feel me? You feel me there, DJ?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You got to be able to let those hands go, man, and feel good about it. And if you're concerned about getting countered and you got a bad chin, this and that, learn how to keep your shoulders up. I mean, there are ways that you can get around having a bad chin and not getting hit.
Yeah. So you think he makes mistakes? I mean, he obviously fought the wrong fight the last fight. Let's face it. Like he didn't,
Absolutely.
He was, he was bad defensively in that fight. Steroids or no steroids, he had the wrong game plan for the fight, right? So, I think he fell into the fact that Ryan Garcia didn't train, and which is true. And, he was drinking and all that. I think they fell for that. They thought they went in there thinking they were going to stop Garcia, and I think that's what made him defensively irresponsible. Let's put it that way. So,
and I say it respectfully to Bill Haney. Bill talks so much that I think some of that get into Devin's head. Why are you trying to walk Ryan Garcia down? Why are you walking to Ryan Garcia? That ain't your
he's
fight.
in the corner. He's in the corner, right?
But that ain't your fight,
especially
though.
in the last fight. He's the one giving the instructions.
But that ain't your fight. And so when you have that going on, hey man, I'm a fan of Devin, but once again, it ain't no secret. I ain't no. Me and Bill don't like each other, respectfully.
Jesus.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
Bill's only got about 6 or 7 fans.
That's not true, Pedro. Stop it.
Okay, I take that back. He's got all the YouTube guys and 6 or 7 fans.
I can't with this guy. I really can't.
I'm just saying.
Salute to everybody in the chat. I see you. I'll highlight the comments as they come across. We're up here talking about the fights this weekend. So now to the third of the 3 main events. Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero. Who you got winning and why? D-Free, you go first. If he's there.
All right. With the Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia, I have no confidence in Rolly Romero's boxing ability, especially his defense. The one thing that we've seen from Rolly since he had the Tank Davis fight, his chin is garbage.
Jesus. You didn't say he had a bad chin or his chin is fading. He just said garbage.
Well, Tommy D, we cut to the chase, man. That's what
I know. I see. He's like you. He must have been watching you. Oh, he cut off. He's back on. Wait, he's probably got a bad.
My bad. I was in the elevator. My bad.
With the elevator. Good Lord, man. Wait. Elevator where?
I'm at my wife's job.
Okay.
But no, with the whole Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, his chin is suspect. Like he got knocked out by Tank Davis, which started it all, and then we seen him shortly after that in sparring, got caught with the same punch with headgear on, got knocked out again, and then we see the old man Barroso. Yeah, Barroso, he dropped him and hurt him badly. And then we seen Pitbull Cruz stopped him and hurt him badly. So I think he's going to walk into Ryan Garcia. I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to set anything up. I think Rolly's going to he thinks that Ryan is still that same fighter he was when they fought back when Ryan was like 17 years old. And I think he's going to try to bum rush Ryan Garcia, and he's going to walk right into a left hook. And he's going to go to sleep. I don't think the fight go past 5 rounds.
That's funny. That's where I'll go next. That's where I have Ryan winning. As much as I would like to see Rolly win, Rolly hasn't done much to promote this fight like he usually does either. So that makes me give me a little bit more confidence in Rolly because it looks like he's really kind of serious. He looked in great shape, but I think Ryan wins in 5. I've been saying it that Rolly's laying down, like when Kevin Nash laid down for Hulk Hogan, for the world title. I think he's doing the same thing. I think he's there for the check. He's there, and he's just gonna not take a dive, but he's just there just to say that he was there. So I got Ryan in 5 in this fight.
Y'all remember when Kevin Nash was Diesel?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Hey, Pedro, age before beauty.
Devin Haney should win this fight. Devin Haney should win this. All the people that should win in all the main events, they all should win. They're all favorite. I mean, Canelo's an 80-1 favorite. I think the Japanese guys are 40-1 favorite. Haney's 12-1 over Ramirez. I mean, these are outside fights, you guys. And I think that what we're trying to, and Ryan's a big favorite over Raleigh. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make something taste good that really isn't that good to taste. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this isn't really competitive boxing. This is some name boxing, but there's not too much competitiveness there. So it's a good run for the weekend. Nobody's buying the card. I don't think anybody's buying the pay-per-view unless most people take the 5th when I ask them about that. Tommy D, what about you? You buying the card? I
might be there. I might go. I might try to wrestle and bump elbows with some people and be there. But other than that, I got a fight party that I was invited to, so I may go to fight party. So I got to openly admit I'm not buying the card. So either I'll be there, try to watch on the screen somewhere, or I'll go to this fight party. So I'm not buying it.
Real quick on Rolly Ryan, man. Look, I think Free said it best. I question Rolly boxing skills. The man, I say it respectfully. I think he can punch, but he ain't got no delivery system, none whatsoever. And so I don't give a damn however much you can punch. If you can't get the punch to land, it don't matter. And I think Ryan, I'm not a fan of Ryan Garcia, but at the same time, the man has been boxing his whole life. A much more skillful fighter. Seems to be much more dedicated to the sport right now. Man, I'm gonna be honest. I got Ryan by knockout, 6th round, 7th round, somewhere in there. I think Rolly. I think he survives a little bit, but I think he's gonna start getting beat on pretty quick in that fight.
But he's a 20-1 underdog, so he should be getting lit up like the White House Christmas.
Agreed. I agree with that. Like you said, I think you made the best point. And we done talked about these fights, and this weekend, I thought this weekend could have been broke up into a month. You know what I'm saying? As far as headlining fights, giving other individuals chances for undercards, those type of things.
Dana White, baby. Dana White's involved.
But at the same time, I love seeing the fights and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, William Scold, what is he gonna do? He's gonna go out there. He's gonna box. I don't think he's as good as Bivol is. And so if you're not that good, then you're gonna struggle with Canelo, in my opinion. Monster Inoue, man, hey, he finna knock Buddy out in the 5th round.
And the referee, during the referee's instructions.
Exactly. So I mean, shout out to all these fights, but I thought it could have been broken up. Give some of these guys that's gonna fight on the undercards, give them opportunities to be seen, to have opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. But I'm still excited for the week, though. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited.
Okay. And then, so right now, before we continue, I got my one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Mr. Socrates Palmer, and look at the screen very closely. You know, Socrates Palmer, born and raised in the Bronx, New York, is a big Boston Celtics fan.
Celtics in 5.
He's trolling the Knicks, and he's saying Celtics in 4. I know this is a boxing. We talk boxing and football and stuff, and tonight is boxing. But Sock, way to start your weekend with the trolling of Celtics in 4. Sock, how you doing, Mr. Socrates Palmer?
I'm doing great.
I agree with Sock. I agree with Sock.
I got the Celtics in 5. I got them in 5. I get the Knicks a game. I do give them a game.
Jesus.
Salute to the panel. How are you? My friends? Where are we at?
We're right at the card tomorrow. We did all 3. You could talk about all 3 fights tomorrow. What do you think, and who wins and why?
Well, I mean, the event is more about the venue, right? The first time it's been done, you know, the outdoor venue in Times Square, which will probably be a precedent moving forward. You know, as has been rumored that the Shakur Stevenson fight is going to take place in a place that's not known for hosting boxing. So it's a cool event, right? How are they going to do it? Everyone, that curiosity factor. Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero, the grudge match. Devin Haney against a perfect comeback opponent, right? The guy's style is tailor-made. And then the most interesting and probably the best matchup is Teofimo and Barboza, which is interesting because they're both evenly matched, but it can also be a very boring fight because of their styles. You know, they're not necessarily. It could be like a Kambosos Lopez fight. You know, but it's a great day. You know, it's boxing in Times Square. Who would have thought of it?
Hey,
Yeah,
Sock.
look at
Hey,
as you see, I've been putting pictures of the ring. This is how the ring is looking in the middle of Times Square. There, it's a sight.
hey, real quick,
Yes,
Sock, real quick.
yes, sir.
Your man still owe me $200, man. ATL unanimous boxing, whatever his name is. The man still owe me
Man,
$200.
bro, you got this.
Over what? He's a welcher. Who's welching
Man,
on bets?
nah. Hey, look. He bet me that Shakur, that Josh Padley was gonna beat Shakur.
No, he
Yeah,
didn't.
that was. And this bet has been a while, like 2 months in the making.
I'm
All
just
right.
that's why we got to call the brother out every time. Every chance I get, I got to
Every
call
time
the
he comes
brother
up, he comes on. He calls the guy out for not paying his bets.
Tom, do you have the address? Can you drop the addy on it?
I do not have the address. If I had it, I would give it to him.
I can get you the address.
Do you know PI that is good at getting information?
Listen, man.
Hey, look, I pay the PI more than what he owed me.
Some Chinese lady, they right. I was trying to get some. She wanted to find out who this dude was that banged her. Some dude banged her. She was visiting San Francisco. Blah blah blah. She called me to the Starbucks. We have this meeting, this and that, and she's telling me. I said to her, "So it's going to cost you $500 for me to run a background check, or $2,500 run an investigation." And she goes, "Well, you get him for me." I said, "We got to get him for you." She got loud in Starbucks. You guys had to get him to go. Lady got loud. Like loud Chinese lady screaming about sex and all that kind of crazy shit. So, yeah, Pedro was a little slightly embarrassed. Left. Here's what's up. I don't use the same Starbucks twice.
Jesus.
You meet these crazy people. I meet crazy people in my business, man. That's what I do. Crazy people is my life.
So real quick, Sock. So you're saying that you got all the favorites then tomorrow.
Everybody.
I think if there is an upset that can happen is Barboza over Teofimo, just because I think it's an even fight. And you also don't know which Teofimo you're gonna get, right? Teofimo's so hot and cold. Do you get the guy that beat up Josh Taylor, or do you get someone who struggled against Cambosis and the Spaniard?
Sandor Martin.
Yes. So that's the only reason. Devin Haney and Ramirez is kind of tailor made. I mean, Ramirez has not won a big fight in a long time. If you look at his box rec, I mean, you probably have to go back to like Maurice Hooker, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they need to build Haney up, at least his confidence. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Haney's gonna have a walk in the park. You can have you want to see how Haney reacts when he gets hit on that chin. After that long layoff, after being bounced off the mat. How many times did he go down against Ryan? 4 times? 5 times?
4 times in one round.
4 times in one.
Not y'all out of order. Not y'all out of order.
Yeah, because
who's going to be the ref? Is Harvey Doc going to be there just in case?
I hope so.
Wow.
This is the problem when I open the panel up and I have people that are anti, a guy that I like. But go ahead, rock on.
Harvey Doc.
I think he went down 4 times.
Wait.
Now stop me. Stop me if I lied.
Huh?
My nose is still the same size. I haven't lied.
Tommy D, are you trying to tell us you're a fan of Harvey Doctor?
No, I didn't. No. I'm a Devin Haney fan, but go ahead.
Oh, I'll go. I can appreciate that. But as far as listen, Devin Haney's going to go out tomorrow night, hopefully, and put forth a good performance. If he gets hit on the chin, hopefully he'll be able to take it, show that he does have a decent chin, this and that. Okay, I want him to go out. He's from San Francisco, you guys. I don't want him to look bad all the time. I mean,
Man, y'all talk like the man got knocked out. The man got up from every time he got knocked down. The man got up. Y'all talk like this man went to sleep in the ring.
But here's what's up. But if Harvey Doc, even Bernard Hopkins said if Harvey Doc wasn't involved, he'd have never made out the 7th round.
Well, but Bernard Hopkins, he got a dog in the fight. He got a dog in that fight, so he gonna say stuff like that. You out, and I say it respectfully. I say this.
You're out of order.
You out of order. You out of order.
Speaking of Bernard Hopkins, where's Bernard Hopkins at? I haven't seen him in a while.
He's there. He was there today. I saw him today at the weigh-in. He was there. The ceremonial weigh-in. He was there. So
I haven't seen or heard Bernard for a minute. I thought he would be up on the stage when Oscar and Bill was about to go at it.
Here we go.
Is it-
Shout out to my
That,
brother.
oh my
Ken.
God,
So here's what's up.
that
Let's
was
talk
horrible.
about that for a second. Do you think? How old is Bill Haney?
how old is Bill? I have no idea.
I
I
have
think he's
no
in
clue.
his 40s. I would say maybe
Probably in his 50s.
He's Oscar's in his 50s. That sounds like a fair fight to me.
no, it's not a
Man,
fair
man,
fight.
Bill-
He's a pro
Bill
fighter.
was going-
Man,
Bill
Bill
would've
Haney
went
ain't
to
no damn
sleep.
fighter.
He would
Doesn't
have went
matter.
to
I want
sleep.
to see Bill Haney get his
But Bill
ass.
got that pimp hand.
Hey, now,
Bill-
Pedro,
Bill got the
Pedro,
pimp
I
hand.
do agree with
Corner.
you. I do
You
agree
guys-
with you, Pedro. I agree. I want to see Bill get knocked the fuck out too. Me personally. Me personally. Look, fuck him. Hey, I done told y'all 100 times. Me and Bill, we done had it out, so it is what it is. But
Let me tell you something. Me and Sock have met Bill Haney, and Bill Haney was nice to us. He was a good
Hey.
guy. I can't say anything bad about Bill. Sock,
Dub,
you can't
Dub
say
has
anything
not
bad
liked
either. He was
Bill
there.
since Bill.
you ain't gotta say nothing bad about him. I'm
He
saying
said-
this
We'll
has
say.
nothing to
Bill-
do. This
Dub
has
has
nothing
not
to do.
liked Bill Haney since Bill said we don't need fans like you. Dub has not liked Bill
That's what he
Haney
said. I asked the man a simple question. I said, bruh, hey, we looking, hey, we ride with Devin around here. Anybody will tell you I'm a huge Devin Haney fan. At the same time, I said, bro, we ride, man. What y'all gonna get? Y'all got to give us something to stand on. Well, if you need something to stand on, we don't want you as a fan anyways. Fuck you. All
That's it.
right,
Jesus.
all right, well, fuck you too then, nigga. What the fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Bill had Bill. What's up with these
Look,
West
it's
Coast
a lot of people
fathers?
in the chat are saying unbelievable.
I mean,
Shower, take care of the chat, Shower.
I'm just being
Go ahead, Sock. Sock, what are you saying?
no, Bill Haney's the ultimate little league dad. I can't knock it.
But is he
I
is he
mean,
the only one? There's other fathers too.
But
I think he's the, I think he's the ultimate. He's got the best son. I give him that. You know what I mean? Brian Norman's still young, and then the dude that faked the injury against the
most
quarter.
fathers is a nut job.
No, I like Jerron. I like Jerron.
Danny Garcia. No, but Jerron is a real coach. I mean, he's coached his other kids.
Both.
Derek
Both.
Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but Bill Haney is like LeVar Ball. He's like he's like Venus Williams' father. He's a guy. It's something about these California fathers.
But we have to, and I always say I have to give Bill credit. I give him a lot of credit because he's got his son to the highest level in the sport of boxing. So
absolutely.
Hey, I got a 10-year-old. I want him to be whatever he chooses to do. I always tell you, you choose what you want to do. I'm gonna push you in that. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to be the best you can be. And Bill has done that for Devin. So hey, no disrespect to him. I just don't like the man. Let's just be honest.
Let me ask a question to a guy that's been doing this for over 40 years. Have you ever seen in your 40 years a father and a son relationship like the one you see now in boxing? Where
They're all the time. Father and son relationships are really bad for boxing because of the fact that a lot of things, the father cannot have the perfect medium. What I mean is that what I mean by that is either he lets a fight go too long, or lets a fight, or he stops it too soon. He's emotionally involved. If he's not emotionally involved, that's not good. I don't want him in the corner if he's not emotional. I don't want my father. You know what I'm saying? My father shouldn't be in the corner. I didn't have my mother in the corner. Okay, so that she was essentially my boxing father, but she wasn't in the corner. So I'm trying to tell you, I don't think you need dads in the corner. I really don't. I don't think dads. I think dads, for the most part, get their guys hurt.
But in the last like let's say decade, we've been seeing a lot of solid fighters, world champions that had their dads in the corner. Danny Garcia, we just mentioned Tio, obviously Haney, Sean Porter, Shane Mosley, Sean Porter. I said Sean Porter. Who else? I feel like I'm missing a couple. I mean, we've seen
Ennis and both.
Ennis doesn't count, like you said, because I think Ennis's father's a legit trainer, right? He's worked with multiple fighters. Not just his son.
He was working with his son solely until as of recently he started.
No, but he had two other sons that boxed too that were they were pretty good.
I think the most successful is probably Anatoly Lomachenko, right?
Good point.
Anatoly,
I would say most successful is Bill Haney. He was undisputed.
No, And then totally, he goes back to the amateurs of Ukraine. And Lomachenko, listen, Devin Haney did not beat Lomachenko. Okay, fuck that shit. He did not beat him.
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
And now
Hey,
you
he did not beat him.
and now you out of order again.
he
You
beat
out
him.
of order, man.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm gonna
I
say he
got
beat
bail
him.
money.
I'm gonna say he beat him because it was a close fight. It could
He,
have went either way.
and it totally worked with Usyk. I mean, you talk about he was a national coach in Ukraine. Before that, I would say Calzaghe. The Calzaghes were a great team,
Yeah,
and the
but he only
Trinidad
that was his son. He only worked with his son and maybe like one other fighter, I think. Right? Did
and
he
the
work? I
Trinidad.
think Enzo. I think he worked with
I think
Enzo.
I think Trinidad. I think that's when you're missing.
Trinidad and his yeah,
Trinidad.
that's another
Yeah.
father son combo.
Hmm.
You know, Zab Judah.
No, don't
Yeah.
include Zab Duda. Zab Duda's father was his name. I think his name was Joel. He was nuts.
Yoel.
Yeah, but Joel's worked with a
Joel.
couple of fighters too.
He was
He's
nuts.
worked with other fighters.
Did I tell you about the times? Did I tell you about the time I was at Mandalay Bay Hotel and some hooker comes up to me. She goes, "What's up, Pedro?" I said, "What's up, baby? What's going on?" She goes,
I mean, you had Floyd Senior too up until Junior kicked him out.
"Oh, let me finish the hooker story." So the hooker comes up. She goes, "Hey, how she know?" Now I won't tell you how she knew my first name, but it wasn't because I was a client of hers. Okay. Anyway, but she said, "What's up, Pedro?" So she's popping, gum, having a good time. She goes, "Where's Zab Duda? I want to see that motherfucker." I said, "Why?" She goes, "He gave me a counterfeit $100 bill last night." Right? Yeah. So anyway, so here comes Zab. Here comes Zab. So I go, "There he is. There he is." And I said it out loud. "There he is. There he is." So Zab heard me. He saw the broad. He started running.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house, running from hookers.
Oh my God.
He gave me a counterfeit $100 bill.
How do I continue from there? How do I continue from that? Oh my God. A counterfeit $100 bill. So, but why she came for you though?
No, because I was standing at the press door and I had a badge on. It said Pedro Fernandez.
Okay.
I had the badge on. She goes, "Pedro." She's popping gum. So I thought, "No, you know me?" Wait a minute. I said, "I don't know." She goes, "Well, motherfucker, he there he is." I said, "Go get him. There he is. There he is." She was chasing Zab Judah around the Mandalay Bay for that $100.
Damn, that's crazy. Oh man. So yeah, so, D Free was mentioning another father son, Floyd Senior and Floyd Jr. until he went with his uncle. So yeah, there's been some good father son combos. But the thing is, father son combos where the fathers are don't really train anybody else. They're not really train like Floyd Senior worked with other fighters and he was a pro fighter.
No, that's what I said. Up until Floyd kicked him out, because up until that point he was only working with Floyd. And
yeah, but he was a pro fighter.
Yeah, he was a pro fighter. I mean, some of these other fathers were pro fighters as well.
Yeah. Well, Brian Norman Jr. and his father, he was a pro fighter, but Danny Garcia's pops was not a pro fighter. So Sean Porter's father, I don't think was a pro fighter either.
You know what Floyd Mayweather Senior's famous for, don't you?
Oh God.
Getting knocked the duck out by Ray Leonard. Ray Leonard abused him.
Ray Leonard did, yeah.
Ray Leonard abused him. Ray should have been arrested for domestic violence that night.
What's going on, D, for the win?
Oh man, I'm gonna chat. So we're gonna continue. We'll go into Saturday's card. Canelo is he gonna get some skull on Saturday night?
Man, that man already won the fight. They might as well just go ahead and go to the daggone Bud Crawford fight. The fight is already won.
Wow, so you give this guy no chance? Like he's getting stopped? Like give me rounds, give me predictions.
No, for one, I mean the man he got decent boxing ability. I give him that. But he reminds me of Tim Bradley. He reminds me of 168-pound Tim Bradley. He's all muscle with no power. I think he got 29 wins with 8 knockouts. Yeah, the man has no power whatsoever. I don't think he has nothing that's gonna make Canelo say, you know what, I can't walk forward. I mean, even when Canelo was fighting Bivol had some steam on his shots, so Canelo couldn't just walk forward into Bivol. But this guy don't have no power. None whatsoever.
To beat Canelo in this fight, you got to push him back, and we're not going to see none of that.
No.
Push him back, keep him against the ropes, and beat his ass.
That's how you beat Canelo.
Yeah.
You're not fit to sit here and just move around the ring, fighting off the back foot. You using it ain't going. You're not fit to get no decision. So
we saw Caleb Plant try to do that. It didn't work out well for him.
And Caleb Plant is a much better boxer, in my personal opinion, than William Skoll is. William Skoll has the size, has the range, has the length. At the same time, like Free said, the power isn't there. The defense is subpar. He's gonna get clipped with shots. I actually think it's gonna be a body shot that stops him. I think he's gonna get stopped to the body, left hand to the body. But I just don't. And once again, I think William Skoll is a decent fighter. I think he's decent. I believe the Cuban school. You know what I'm saying? He comes from that pedigree. So I don't see him winning the fight.
He's an
Do you think?
Underdog. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be great if he did win? No, nobody's saying nothing because
I mean, it would be. I think it would be awesome if he won. I don't see it happening.
No, I don't.
I think we haven't seen Canelo get a knockout in a long time. I think we finally get to see one. You know,
Do you think it's a good fight? Do you think it's a good fight to get him ready to fight a fighter like Terence Crawford, or is just Terence Crawford just cashing out?
Well, I don't think this is going to help him prepare for Crawford. This is just a tune-up. It's just a warm-up. I don't think they're two different fighters.
Let's call it for what it is. It's for him to get the belt back so he can be quote unquote two-time undisputed.
Yes.
Let's call it for what it is.
And then he could defend undisputed against a guy that was undisputed.
Oh, you mean like David Benavidez?
No, he ain't gonna fight David Benavidez. He's running from him. He's running from that one. He's running from that fight right there. He's running from that fight.
Tommy D don't think so.
Wait. Don't think what?
You don't think he's running from? Man, you don't think he's running from?
Benavidez, of course he was. He is. He was both. I mean, Benavidez moved on.
He's sprinting.
Hey, look.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another reason why we probably got kicked off WBC TV because we were complaining on that. So we got kicked off at WBC because of we got at him because of Shaki Foster, got robbed against Conceição, and then we got kicked off because we kept bashing Canelo. Well, you kept bashing
Canelo and bashing the WBC. Bashing Mauricio couldn't handle the heat. His father could handle the heat. Okay, his father used to call me at 1 o'clock in the morning. Pedro, I can't believe what you wrote in the column. He would call me at 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't. And I said, well, look, man. I said, you guys fucked up. I said, you fucked up. I was bitching about the Jeff Fennick and Zuma Nelson fight. They gave Zuma Nelson a belt like 40 years later. But that night, I mean, Jeff Fennick a belt 40 years later. But that night, man, Jeff Fennick beat Zuma Nelson's ass and didn't get the call. WBC bullshit.
Yeah.
Speaking of bullshit decisions, there was a judge that passed away, Tommy Kazmarek.
Tommy Kaz, not a bad guy. Controversial.
You got any stories with him?
Not that I think I want to come in here.
Well, that's what we want to hear. That's why you're here.
No. Here's what. So I spanked him a couple times over decisions. I spanked him one time on television. He was sitting right next to me. In other words, he was a judge, and I was sitting there at TV doing TV in Atlantic City. We were ripping him up and saying he happened to be sitting right next to me. I didn't know it.
Wow. What fight was this?
Oh, I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, man.
Kazmarek, he was their go-to guy. He was like Tim Cheatham to an extent.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Yeah, you never knew which way he was going, but you always went the house way.
Yeah.
He always go the house way.
Yeah.
Hey, look, them manila folders, they hit a little differently when they get past that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's right about those manila folders, bro. He's right about that.
So I guess moving on. So I think we're all in agreement. Canelo's going to win, and he'll probably get a stoppage. Anybody seeing this go 12?
I got to go in 12. I don't think he gets the stoppage.
Okay.
I think if he does, it's a body shot. But I will say I think that William Skoll is crafty enough to make it through the fight. I think he is crafty enough to do that.
Are you saying he's crafty enough to stink the joint out?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's exactly what I'm saying.
oh God. Hey, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy than that Sheik guy. Hey, is it just me? Is it just me? I mean, the dude wears a dress. I understand it,
Oh
but I
my
never seen
God.
one of
Oh,
I never
shit.
seen one of those girls.
Jesus Christ.
The Sheik dude. I mean, come on, man. If you're the Sheik, you should have the finest bitches in the world. I never seen one of those girls.
Well, that's their tradition. You ain't gonna see over there. You don't see it happening the way that it might happen over here. So,
Hey, when
That's
was the last time
Saudi Arabia.
Canelo had a stoppage?
Caleb Plant.
I think
Yeah,
Caleb
that
Plant.
was Caleb Plant. That was what, 5 years ago?
Yeah. When's the last
Something
time?
like that.
4 years ago, something like
When's the
that.
last time he fought a number one contender? That was it.
Well, but he's dropped. I think he's had a knockdown in like every fight. He just like he's got warning track power now at this point in his career because he
Yeah.
dropped Munguia, he dropped Charlo, he dropped Berlanga, but he hasn't been able to
To
beat
capitalize.
Mariano Rivera and just close it out.
And he
Well, the
hurt
Munguia fight, he laid off Munguia.
Yeah, he laid off because he hurt
I wanna
McGill
bring that up.
bad.
I got
He
one
hurt
question
McGill
for the
bad.
panel. Has anybody ever heard of a guy beating a guy and buying him a $150,000 car afterwards? What kind of shit is that?
I've never
That's
heard
what
of
he did with
this.
Munguia.
I've never heard of this stuff.
Yeah, he did. Well, he bought Munguia for a car, right?
$150,000 car.
I didn't say it didn't happen. I'm just saying I ain't never heard of it.
That's
he-
insane.
He hurt
And speaking
McGill
of
bad in
Munguia-
that fight. He could have stopped McGill that fight. He hurt him bad.
And-
But
and
then
it's
again,
great-
did Mugia even try?
But hey,
I think
even
Munguia tried.
a great segue, Munguia and the rematch, right? He's fighting the Italian guy, right?
Yeah,
No, he's from
Sriracha
France.
or
I think he's
something.
French.
whatever he
The
is.
friend.
Hey, but whatever he
But
is,
he-
he pulled the upset the first time. He's a
He
12-1 underdog in the rematch. The boxing establishment not going to let him win again.
It sounds like it to be 12-run underdog after you stop the guy ugly. That's insane.
I know McGill better not coming in trying to just walk him down because that's how he got stopped. He kept getting hit with that right hand.
Yeah, the right hand couldn't miss him.
But the craziest thing is this man got like 5 KOs, 6 KOs in his entire career.
Yeah, he got 5 KOs now.
What are we doing?
The McGill was his 5th KO. He had 4 going into that.
That's crazy.
You know what, you guys? I fought Juan Rodriguez, and I beat him up in the gym so bad I should have been arrested for beating him up. I'm telling you, right? And then-
Who was this?
Juan Rodriguez. And then so they said to me, we need a fight, blah blah blah. We're gonna do it with Juan. I said, we'll do it with Juan. I said, want me to beat up Juan again, blah blah blah. So he beat my ass. You know what I'm trying to say? Sometimes you just never. Sometimes shit like the Buster Douglas shit. Sometimes shit just goes the other way.
Yeah, I guess. But Pedro, I'm glad you brought this up because I didn't know this. 12-1 underdog in a rematch. He's underdog 12-1 in a fight that he won by knockout.
I read the odds last week to you on the air.
That's insane. I've never heard of anything like that.
That because they know daggone well that was a fluke.
Yeah, that's what they're telling you. That it was a fluke.
Hey man, listen, nothing could be better if Bruno laid him out again. I mean that would be righteous.
If somebody betting on them 12-1 underdogs, they about to be happy if it happened like that.
Hey, sometimes the best punch is when you close your eyes. Sometimes, it just happened that way in boxing. So
Speaking of betting, Ron Borges of the Boston Globe, he bet $1,000 on Buster Douglas
Against Tyson?
yeah,
Wow.
Get the fuck out of
he
here.
came up big time.
No, it was a couple of people that did that. I remember reading there was a couple of people had bet some serious money on Buster Douglas because they heard about Mike Tyson the night before out partying. And so they bet some serious money on Buster Douglas and they came up like a fat rat.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Mike was doing blow and hookers.
Wow.
You don't win
Ron
fights,
Borges.
you don't win fights doing both.
You don't win. Maybe one, but not both, right?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, hey Tommy, I got a ride, but man, shout out to my brother, all my brothers in the building, man. Shout out to TD, man. Always a great show. Shout out to Pedro, Free Sock. Much love and respect. Appreciate y'all for allowing me to rock and have these boxing conversations with y'all. and we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely.
I'm honored, my brother. Thank you.
Hey, love y'all, man. Y'all
Thank
be
you.
safe.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Dub. Thank you. So moving along, another big fight in this card. Your guy, Pedro, Martin Bacoli. He's taking on Fa
Man,
Jogba.
he ain't my guy no more. No.
Not anymore.
No. You don't listen. You don't show up. Listen, if you're gonna get pimped off, okay, you don't by some Arab sheik. You sure in hell don't get pimped off for 800 grand. You know where I'm coming from? I mean, that's what he got pimped off for. If I was him, I'd have went over there and maybe done the same thing, but I'd have got a whole lot more money than that. You wanted me to do it? Give me $5 million.
Mike Borrell is his manager. Mike, you should have gotten him more.
Oh, that was a shame, man. $800,000. And he went over there. He had no chance of winning whatsoever. None. He was like 300 pounds. Wasn't training, that kind of good stuff. No, he sold his soul.
Yeah.
Sold his soul. I don't know. Is the IBF still going to give him that IBF eliminator fight or what?
I think this is it. I think this is still the IBF eliminator. I could be wrong, but
if Gawa or something like that.
That's right, Jogba. Yeah.
Anybody? Can he fight?
I gotta look it up. I thought that.
D3, can that guy fight?
Which guy are you talking about?
The guy that's fighting Martin Bacoli.
Jogba.
F.A. Jogba, have I seen him fight? Yeah.
No, he said, can he fight?
Oh, can he fight? F.A. Jogba, he has okay boxing style. The thing is, we know that Martin Bacoli is going to come at him. It depends on Martin Bacoli move his head, because a lot of times Martin Bacoli leave his head on the line. F.A. Jogba can punch. He can punch, and we know that Martin Bacoli can be knocked out. He's been stopped twice. The two losses were both by stoppage. And neither one of those guys was considered heavy punchers like that. I mean, they can punch, but they wasn't considered big punchers, and they both stopped them. So he's in there with a guy that really can punch. So it can go either way, because we see F.A. Jogba get hurt too. So it can go either way. I would favor F.A. Jogba because it's more on the line for F.A. Jogba. Martin Bacoli is just he's not just there. It's not anything behind him. He doesn't have anything pushing behind him. F.A. Jogba got more on the line, so he's going to be fighting a little bit more because he knows he got a lot on the line. Martin Bacoli just fought the interim champion. He got knocked out by the interim champion. F.A. Jogba is looking to become a title, a contender for the title. So he's trying to get that shot. So I would favor F.A. Jogba because of Martin Bacoli going to come at him. So I'm just going to favor F.A. Jogba. He's a big puncher. He's going to come at him.
I don't think much of F.A. Jogba either, but I think both guys need this fight. I mean, especially after what Bacoli did in his last fight. He took that money and he took a beating, and I think his trainer saved him from a worse beating, because I think he was going to get up and take another beating. So he saved them. So maybe what he saved them, maybe for this fight, F.A. Jogba almost got stopped by Guido Vianelli. And I don't think much of Guido Vianelli, especially, after his last performance against Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, because he looks like John. Because that guy looks like Ron Jeremy.
It's been your coworkers, right, Tom?
Ron Jeremy used to go to the fights, you guys. Don King used to get him tickets to the fights, right? He was the ugliest motherfucker I ever seen in my life, man. I ain't lying. I mean, I couldn't believe it. When they tell me he's boned all the fine broads in the world, I say to myself, ugh.
Oh man,
sorry.
You heard what Sock said? He said that he's a co-worker of mine.
You guys in the same union, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Hey, whatever union Tommy's got, he's got it going on, man. The guy doesn't work too much.
Oh,
He
man.
works. Hey, he works from home. When I call him, he's all stressed out. Like, what's the matter? He goes, I don't know what I'm gonna have for lunch.
Yes, Guido did
Wow.
get TKO by Johnny Rice. That is true. But and that's the same Guido that almost stopped F.A. Ajaba. But I don't, we'll see what happens. It's two guys. I think it's the fight is going to be entertaining. I think they went at it in a press conference today. I didn't watch the press conference. I'm going to watch it maybe after this. But they kind of went after each other. I didn't know that they didn't like each other. So be interested to see it. I think it's going to be entertainment. I think it's a good fight to be on a card where Canelo's meant to win, so it's good to have a good undercard. The Munguia fight against Bruno, I think that's a good fight too. With Munguia, obviously has to redeem himself. So the return of Badu Jack, he hasn't fought in like 2 years, 3 years.
Dog, give it up. Give it up.
Well, the other guy, the guy he's fighting, hasn't fought in like 2.5 years.
Both of them, give it up.
Yeah.
And their last opponent, both
need
guys' last opponent is the same guy.
They need to take that fight right there, that one fight, Badu Jack and his opponent, and put it on the Jake Paul card. These dudes need to give it up. Put that on the Jake Paul card.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm glad you guys brought up Jake Paul. Did you see that picture of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? He must weigh about 240 pounds.
No.
Yeah.
That's what that.
You see the picture of him?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
No.
No, I
That
haven't.
man, Chavez Jr. look like Prince Hassim right now. He
Exactly.
looks like Prince
Thank you,
Hassim.
brother. He's got it right, man.
Oh,
Prince
man.
Hassim Ahmed. Speaking of Prince Hassim Ahmed, he ain't making 126 pounds ever again.
No,
think?
I don't have Chavez making it past 3 rounds, though.
No.
I don't have Chavez making it past 3 rounds.
I
When
remember
is that?
when Hamed got lit up by Barrera, we were at the weigh-in. I was at the weigh-in with Mills Lane and Tony Holden. Mills Lane was my broadcast partner for a lot of fights. We did something called Let's Get It on TV. So anyway, Mills said to me, "That don't even look like him." He's looking at Hamed. And I'm saying, "What do you mean, Mills?" He goes, "He shrunk." I said, "What do you mean he shrunk?" He goes, "He must have been 170 pounds when he was with me on tour." I said, "Why do you say that?" He goes, "He's dropped 40 pounds from when he was." Turns out Hamed was walking around 165. He had to come down to 126.
Wow.
Not that it would have done him any good against Barrera. Bottom line is, Hamed was a fat guy before he got fat.
How do you get that fat and not even? How do you get that fat and not even eat pork?
How do you get that fat and get laid?
Holy shit!
No, I mean, I'm just be honest, man. I mean, when's the last? I mean, how do you even see your appendage down there without a mirror?
Oh.
Tommy D. I said
What
the
is
word
happening? I don't know
appendage.
what's happening right now.
Tommy D. I said the word appendage. I didn't say anything gross.
Okay.
Was that one of Emmanuel Stewart's worst losses? Pedro.
Emmanuel Stewart's worst loss was when Jimmy Paul got whooped up by Greg Howland. He bet $625,000 on Jimmy Paul.
Wow.
Mm. Wow.
You know, Emmanuel's only hang up was gambling. He liked to gamble.
Really? Okay.
I didn't know that. I never knew that about Emmanuel.
He was my godfather, man. I stayed in his house. He treated me. When he tweeted me, this is why I don't like Twitter. He tweeted me 3 days before he died, and he said, "I'm not gonna make it."
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, and he don't tweet, and I don't do tweets. So then Nick Charles, the guy that used to be the Showtime boxing announcer, when he died, he tweeted me 3 days before too. Said, "Pedro, that was a good fight last night. Hopefully I can see another one." You know what I mean? So I don't do Twitter because I'm spooked on that. I'm sorry, man.
Wow.
Well, you know what that means, Thomas? That means you better not ever tweet Pedro.
No, I won't be doing that.
Right. I do want to mention one thing though, because I'm a big fan of his. Larry Merchant is rocking and rolling and doing well. He's getting his kid his tooth pulled out in a couple weeks. So I'm going to go down and see him next week. He's 94 years old. He took me to lunch last time with Steve Kim and a couple other reporters and guys like that. And then afterwards, I'm ready to go back to the car and smoke some weed. Okay, I am. I mean, I'm chill with Larry. I said, "Larry, we're good." Had this long lunch and this and that. He takes me for a 1 hour walk. I don't want to walk around Santa Monica for an hour. I'm tired. Okay?
Wow.
But this 94-year-old man is walking me into the ground. And then he stops, and every couple of blocks he stops and does bench push-ups.
Larry Merchant.
Yeah, 94.
But I miss HBO.
Yeah, that was boxing, guys. Maybe that was it. Maybe I talk about not being a boxing media this and that, no media this and that. But I think it was when HBO left boxing. I think that's when boxing sort of went in the tank.
Well, you get a little taste tomorrow night with one of your favorite people, your favorite broadcasters, Jim Lampley, will be on tomorrow night.
Well, you know what's funny about Jim Lampley is I'm glad you brought him up. Because when I was with lunch with Larry Merchant a couple of weeks ago, Gary Gittleson, who was Junior Jones's manager, said to me, he goes, I remember that night you almost bitch slapped Jim Lampley. I said, oh yeah. I said, he goes, yeah. He goes, I said, Pedro, tell Larry the way it went down. I said, okay. Jim Lampley's ex-wife was a TV news lady in Los Angeles. Okay, she was on the evening, like 11 o'clock news. But she had hands like a crab, you guys. Her hands were all deformed. They looked like crab hands. I swear to God, like crabs. I swear to God, like lobster hands. Okay. So anyway, so she had some kids, and the kids had lobster hands too, which is fucked up, I think. Okay. Anyway, but the bottom line is, there was some big brother standing at the door there at the press conference, the post-fight Tyson. What the fight was. Anyway, but Jim Lampley's there, and Jim Lampley's wife starts grabbing this big black dude's cock.
No.
Yeah, she's rubbing on his cock back and forth like that. And I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm going, whoa, this ain't gonna go. This ain't gonna go. Nothing can come good of this. Maybe dude gets a hard on, maybe not. But anyway, but the bottom line is, so Jim Lampley jumps up and runs across the room and grabs her and puts her in a chokehold. He slaps her in the choke. He puts his hands around her throat and he's choking her. She's turning blue. So I slapped, me being a former policeman, I slapped the police chokehold on his ass. He didn't want to let go. I said, motherfucker, you letting go yet? You letting go? You letting go? You letting go? And finally, he was ready to pass out, and he let go. And I pushed his ass down on the ground.
Wow.
Fuck Jim.
I don't think you ever told me the beginning of that story. You always told me the end. You never told me what she did. Not that she deserved to get choked.
No.
But you never told me that. You never told me that.
The bitch was turning blue.
Yeah, no, I understand that. You told that story a few times, I remember, but you never told me the beginning part of that story.
Oh, yes. Well, that's how it started off. She'd use that lobster hand to rub on this big black dude's dick. And, the dude had a big dick. I mean, he just, it was weird. It was a whole weird situation there, man.
So a big lobster hand into a blue crab.
Chokehold on your ass. Nobody believes it at first. Nobody believes the chokehold at first. Nobody believes it. And then you start to lose consciousness a little bit. Then you start to realize the shit's real. But when he was losing strength in his arms, that's when he finally gave up.
Oh my God!
But he wouldn't give up, you guys. I had to crank that shit up on him two or three times.
You could have killed Jim Lampley.
Larry, at lunch, Larry said, he goes, and if Jim did that, he had it coming.
Sock, what was you going to ask? What was you going to say?
I was going to say the irony that a broad with lobster hands turned into a blue crab because the big turned blue.
Those hands were ugly, man. Hey, those hands, let me tell you like this. There's no way in the world you could sleep with that girl looking at them hands. Imagine, listen, I'm telling you like this, you sitting there in the car, I'm talking to you especially. Imagine this when you got hands that look like lobster hands. I swear to God, they're like little claws, like little lobster claws. Now, you don't want that bitch. What, you going to give you a hand job with them claws? Jesus. I'm passing.
These crackers are crazy. No offense, Tom. These crackers are bugged out. Sometimes
Yo, Sock, that was really witty. That was very witty of you, Dick. No offense, Tom. Good one, Sock. The hangout spot was good, bro. Salute, bro. Oh man,
Jim Lampley's a Tar Heel.
Nice one.
Jim Lampley. Wow. Jim Lampley is a good announcer. He's a Tar Heel. Yeah. Larry Merchant didn't like him. Nobody liked him.
You told us that. I remember, yeah.
When Larry and him saw each other a couple months ago at that fight card in L.A., I think it was a Crawford fight, something like that. Anyway, they sort of like made contact and stuff, but they ain't close. They were never close. Just like me and Bernstein. I hated that motherfucker. I worked with him. I hated him. Mills Lane didn't like him either. Neither of us liked Al.
Wow.
Punk ass Al.
Let me ask you a question. After that incident with Lampley, right, where you almost, popped his head off, did you ever see Lampley again after that?
Yeah, many times. He never said a word.
Never. Oh, so y'all never spoke after that ever?
No, he never said a word.
Okay.
I said, how are you? He was there.
Wow.
Listen. I think I would bring a lobster if I wanted to really piss him off. I would just bring a lobster.
Oh,
and just hey, remember this?
Wow.
You got it, man. I mean, come on, guys. She had lobster. You want me to get a picture of them hands? Them hands were nasty.
No, I don't think I want to see that.
No. So you got to sleep with that?
But he's not with her anymore, right? He's not with her. He's not with her.
They got divorced, and then Jim Lampley beat up some girlfriend, and then she came out in the newspaper and she defended him. Said he was never violent with me, so I called the LA Times to straighten them motherfuckers out on that.
You know what's funny about all of that is that he had the audacity to make this big thing on HBO about Floyd Mayweather and his domestic problems, and then Lampley, he had domestic problems of his own.
Yep.
Hypocrite, total hypocrite.
Yep.
No, here's what's up. He was the punk. He was the motherfucking punk of the team. He just was. He was. I don't care what you say. He may have been the guy that was throwing the ball around like the quarterback, throwing the passes to Larry and Emmanuel and those guys, right? But I think it could have worked without him. It could have worked without Lampley. This could have. Lampley was nothing but a big egotistical freak, and he came up second with me.
Barry Tompkins was good, and he was still doing stuff on Showtime.
Barry's a good guy. Barry and I got together when I was in elementary school. He was at KPIX doing Channel 5 sports. He was the first sports guy in San Francisco television history. Barry Tompkins. Really?
He goes that far. Wow.
Yeah. And then here's what's up. Barry got fired from HBO for Jim Lampley, right? Barry fucked himself on the job. This is what he told me. He said that Seth Abraham came to San Francisco and they were having a couple of drinks. Seth said to him, when you're doing the Wimbledon tennis, Jim Lampley is going to take over boxing. And Tompkins says, drunk as a skunk. He said to Seth, well, fuck it. Why don't you let him take over all the fights? Bang. He's fired.
Wow.
That's right. I remember back in the day, HBO used to do Wimbledon. That's right.
That's how Lampley got the gig. And he does. Listen, Jim does a good job. I mean, he does a good job of what he does. Okay. I bitched him.
You bitch slapped him.
When I pushed him down on the ground, I pushed him. I grabbed him, had the chokehold on him. He was ready to go unconscious, and I threw him down on the ground. Threw his ass down like a piece of shit. Just threw him on the motherfucker. Okay. He didn't say shit. Everybody was around him. Everybody was like freaking out.
And nobody said it. Nobody said anything. You said that they didn't.
Said a word.
Nobody said anything after that.
Nobody said. And it was quiet for about a minute, and then shit started. Started making noise.
Have you ever? I've asked you this before, but I'm asking you again. Have you ever thought of writing a book?
Why? I would snitch off people I really don't want to snitch off. If I had to tell the truth, I would have to. If I had to tell the truth, I'd be fighting. To tell the truth would mean me violating trust. People brought me into their like Don King. Okay, there's things I can write about Don, but I'm not going to do it because he trusted me enough to bring him into his clique, to bring me into that clique. I'm not going to shit on him. I'm not going to do that. And writing a book, I think would shit on a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Besides, I'd have to tell. Besides, they'd ask me how Tommy D makes his money. I tell them he makes it on the internet. Now soccer's laughing, but D3 ain't laughing there. No, D3, you don't know because I asked Tommy D if he was on YouPorn or not one time. He denied it.
Unbelievable. I got one more question since we're talking about beating up, co-workers, right? Because that was a co-worker sort of. Have you ever had to put hands on anybody else in boxing? Not in the fights, but like, another
Floyd Mayweather Senior came close.
who?
Floyd Mayweather Senior came close.
That would have been a great story because he thinks he could whip everybody.
Well, no, I told him, I said, man, sit your fucking faggot ass down. I ain't playing.
No, you
Pull that ghetto nigga shit on other guys. I said, I ain't that good. Same thing I did. Same thing I told Teddy Atlas when the 2000 was that, who was on that 2000 Olympic team? The guy from Cincinnati, that 140 pound, I can't remember his name. Anyway,
Ricardo Williams.
Who?
Ricardo Williams.
Ricardo Williams, exactly. Whatever team that was on. Anyway, they had the graduation party per se for at MSG. Teddy Atlas was there. Teddy said something like that, and Teddy looked at me like, I said, motherfucker, what you gonna do about it? I got up and backed his ass off, man. Fuck him. I told him it's like this. Listen, you pull that shit on the East Coast guys. I said, I ain't your East Coast punk.
Wow.
Guess what? Teddy didn't say a motherfucking word. So all that shit about Teddy being a tough guy and this kind of shit, he ain't that tough.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
And the Floyd Mayweather, what happened with Floyd Mayweather? What he
Mayweather? I think Mayweather. I said something about Mayweather, his ability to train De La Hoya, and I said, I think he got fired or something like that. And anyway, we went back and forth, and he tried to get in my face, and boom, I put the straight hand out like you keep your motherfucking stuff. And that's when security came. He was acting a fool, this and that. I said, that's what I told the dude. I said, let him go. You know what I'm saying? He wants to go, let him go. You want to go outside? Let's go outside. Let him go. Guess what? Floyd didn't want to go. Floyd Senior didn't want to. He talks a good game. More power. Tell you, the best one of the whole family was Roger.
Roger was good. Roger was a champion.
He was a gentleman. He was a good guy. He suffered the residual effects of professional boxing, and he got punch drunk and then dementia and all that kind of good stuff. And a lot of you guys don't see that. Like Diego Corrales, he was another guy. I mean, I was with him when he beat Acelino Freitas, and Asak was at that fight up there in 2004 at Foxwoods. And then 2 fights later, he's a retard. He's retarded because of the fact that the Steele fight beat him into retardation. You know what I'm saying? But one fight can change a guy, man. So I think that when Diego went into that intersection, he committed suicide on a motorcycle on purpose.
Jeff Mayweather's a nice guy. I like Jeff.
Jeff's a good guy, but Roger had the ability. Roger had the moxie. Roger was the original.
Yeah. The execution.
Wow. Okay.
Tommy D, you ready to call it?
What's up?
Ready to call it up or what?
Well, one more card. We'll go real quick. We'll do your pound for pound guy. Monster No Way. That's a decent card that they're gonna show.
My monster is 100. My monster weighs 175.
Oh, okay. Benavidez, I know. But you do like Inoue as well.
I think we all do.
Yeah, I like Inoue too. I can, so he's fighting on the card, and an intriguing fight matchup on the card is Rafael Espinoza against Edward Vasquez. I think that's going to be a good fight. Yeah. Edward Vasquez is no pushover. 17-2, 2 losses, kind of, could have went the other way. I think he was robbed against Joe Cordina. I thought he beat Joe Cordina, and they gave him a win. And then it was a close fight against Raymond Ford. It wasn't a robbery, but it could have went either way. So, and Espinoza, 26-0, he just beating up on Robisi Ramirez after Robisi knocked him down in the 6th round, came back, dropped him in the 12th, won the title, and then ended up winning the rematch, making Robisi quit with them elbows. So what do you think about those 2 fights? I mean, I like Vasquez for the upset in this fight.
I don't know about that. That dude, Espinoza, what, 6 foot tall, fighting at 126 pounds? I don't know. I mean,
something's got to give.
Yeah.
Huh?
If you fighting the 6 foot 126, someone's got to give, and guess what? It probably ain't going to be the other guy.
Yeah, I find him. He's one of those guys. It's going to be hard to beat him at that weight class because he's so much bigger than everybody else. I think the only person that probably have a realistic shot at beating him is Shushu. I think Shushu has a realistic shot. It's just a matter of how Shushu gonna come in there. But this guy that he's facing Sunday, I think Espinoza is probably going to end up stopping him. Probably in the later round, somewhere around probably round 9, round 10. I think he's going to end up stopping him.
Adrian, how do you fight such a tall guy? Do you have to get little borderline dirty?
You have to jump on him when I fought Keith Rucker, he was 6'2", 139 pounds. He was 8-0 with 6 knockouts, and he was knocking everybody out. In fact, Don Chargan and Top Rank and all these motherfuckers sent people to watch him. In fact, my team came in the room and said, there's all kinds of promoters out here. I said, yeah, and they're here to see Keith. That didn't take much more. 12 seconds in the fight, he had a broken cheekbone laying on his ass. I told motherfucker, get up. He went 3 rounds. That was it. That was the end of it. But I jumped on him right away. I didn't allow him to establish any pattern with that jab or nothing like that, because if I did, it would have been a long night. If you don't jump on the tall dude first, it's over. He will bitch slap you all night. And he will bitch slap it, but I didn't get into it to get bitch slapped.
Yo, that's why Robisi let him off the hook. He had him hurt badly in that. I think it was the 6th round, and I mean it was the end of the round, but he didn't jump on him in the next round. You know,
not too many tall guys.
He got out of there.
Not too many tall guys to fight on the back foot. You know, I remember the first Leonard Hearns fight. Watching and I was watching my father, and I remember him saying about Tommy not being able to fight on the back foot, and that was what kind of turned the fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what turned the fight was that body shot in the 6th round that cracked his rib. That turned everything. And here's what's up. You know, I never understood. Manny Stewart and me were tight, and I felt that he was at fault two times. Is that when he didn't send Tommy out to kill Ray Leonard, that was the biggest mistake I thought he ever made in his life. I just think he did, because Tommy was bigger. He could punch harder. He had to reach a whole 9 yards. And he went out there and he tried to box Ray. I don't know what it is. Guys want to outbox. Marvin wanted to outbox Ray. I mean,
ego.
I don't know.
The ego, brother.
Anyways, I still think Ray Leonard was the best fighter. Him and Duran were probably, I think, were 1 and 2 of the best two of the last 50 years. I think so.
No argument.
Ray being
no argument.
It's hard to like 1A and 1B there. You know, Duran didn't move up to 147 and beat him. Yeah. So, but that Leonard, when Leonard beat Hagler. How many guys? Did anybody here think Hagler won that fight?
I thought Hagler won the fight.
Did you?
Yes.
I actually, I mean, it all depends on how you scored the round, because looking at the fight, you would say Hagler probably won majority of the round, but what Leonard did at the end of every round was he threw a flurry, and he left that lasting impression on the judge's mind. Yeah. And so they scored it for Leonard. So I'm not mad at anybody that say Hagler won, but I knew what Leonard did, and he did it because he knew what the judges was going to remember last. They're going to remember him throwing a lot of punches at the end of that round.
Do you know how you explain that to Marvin? Let me explain this to you the way I explained it to Marvin Hagler. We're on an airplane going to Malaga, Spain, from D.C. We're sitting in first class, and he says to me, "What'd you think of Leonard fight?" I said, "Well, man," I said, "you know, it's hard to win. You gave away 4 of the first 5 rounds." I said, and then all Ray had to do was steal 3 rounds down the stretch. I put it like that. And Marvin said, "I could see that. But if I told Marvin, well, you gave him 4 rounds, blah, 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 you know, you didn't approach Hagler that way. You didn't approach Hagler that way, and you didn't approach Tyson that way." Those are the only 2 guys I wasn't afraid of anybody else. But you didn't do that with Tyson. You didn't do it with him. Just out of respect.
Right.
Do you think that Leonard Hagler fight was kind of graded on a curve? because no one expected Leonard to win.
No, bro. I was there. I sat in a nice $700 seat. I had to pay for it. But I thought Ray won for 4 of the first 5 rounds. All he had to do was win 3 down the stretch, and he did. I thought he won 3 between round 5 and 12. I thought he won three of those rounds. So I gave him a 7-5 edge in rounds. And Marvin, I got Marvin to agree with me on that to an extent. Because, Marvin didn't agree with me. I was real touchy with him. The only guy he ever complimented in all the conversations we had, we talked in Argentina, Mexico, Spain, here in the United States, all over. But he complimented Duran. That was the only guy he ever complimented. Because Duran had a sneaky right hand. That was it. It was the only guy he ever complimented. Everybody else was a piece of shit, including Duran.
Well, and he went to war with Duran. That was a great fight.
But Duran,
until it was over.
Yeah, it went 15 rounds.
No, it went 15 rounds. He didn't stop. Hagler didn't stop Duran.
No. I was saying until it was over. I said it was a good fight until it was over. Duran got beat up.
He did get beat up, but he won some rounds in that fight. He beat up Hagler a little bit too. Hagler was beat up too after that fight.
If as a junior welterweight, if you put me in with a super middleweight, the super middleweight should beat me up.
Yeah.
You feel me? Marvin Hagler should have beat the shit out of Roberto Duran that night. Should have froze him up and knocked him out 5 or 6 rounds. He was a lightweight, former lightweight, and yet Marvin Hagler had this respect thing. He was weird. He wanted to outbox Ray. He wanted to outpunch Mugabe. I was there when he was fighting Mugabe. I was in the first row, and he's punching it out with Mugabe when he can easily outbox Mugabe. So he had to outbeast the beast. He had to outbox Ray. He had to outpunch Tommy. You know what I'm saying? He had to do everything better than everybody else, which made Marvin.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. Let's wrap it up, Tommy D. All those guys are looking tired, man.
Yeah, it's late here on the East Coast. I know it's early for you. What is it, 9 o'clock over there? So,
9 o'clock, my battery's starting to go.
Okay. Well, Pedro, I appreciate you coming on, making the show, making us laugh.
I appreciate being able to hang out with D. Free here and the guy that says the Celtics are going to win 4, maybe 5. And then, of course, Sir Thomas Dillamuth. Sir Thomas Dillamuth is a super dad. He's a super dad. There's a lot of, that's not something to really laugh. You a good father too, D? I mean, good fathers are hard to come by, you guys. I got 2 good fathers here, maybe 3 good fathers here in the screen. And I wish you guys all the best because
D. Free is not only a good father, he's a good grandfather.
Well, they're more proud than all 3 of you. You know what I'm saying? You know what? You are what you create, man.
Yeah.
You are what you create. Anyway, D, my pleasure meeting you, my brother. Hope we can talk again real soon.
Most definitely.
And my boy Devin Haney in the middle there. Devin. I'm not going to say it, Devin, but Devin, I never saw you with no chicks either.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there.
I'm just leaving it. Anyway, good night, everybody. Tommy D, I love you.
All right, Pedro. Good night.
My brother.
Good night, Pedro. I really can't.
Oh man, so Mickey would throw the girls out the gym. Broads are no good. Rock.
Pedro, you out of here, man. I'll see you. I'll see you on Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday, boss. I'll see you at Sock. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, D, you got to come on my show next few weeks, man. We need to talk.
Okay.
But definitely, D. Free be great. D. Free, yeah, definitely.
Much respect. You guys all have a good time. And I thank you so much for allowing me to come into your clique here, man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Pedro. Right. Appreciate
Thank you.
All right. The great Pedro Fernandez, Shower. She says, I can't believe Sock is a Haney hater. Yes, Shower. You guys are Haney haters, man. Sock is a huge Haney hater.
Oh, stop it. I may be huge, but I'm not a huge Haney hater. You got to put a comma there. You got to put a comma.
I'll put it up for a little bit if anybody want to jump off for a few seconds. We're about to get out of here, but damn, my eyes are pretty bad. What's up?
Did you talk about Conor Ben and Eubank?
We didn't even get to that. We were just trying to get to the fights, and Pedro kept talking Devin Haney and Bill Haney. He took over the show.
We just hit May, but That was it, one of the rare fights that lived up to the expectations. That superseded expectations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
an instant classic. And now we have some controversy about the sauna suit. What's up with that? Is this the strong arm a rematch?
It could be. It's very weird. It could be.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they do a rematch. I don't think Eubanks can do that again.
Well,
Um,
I mean,
I don't think it's necessary.
uh,
yeah,
I don't think it's necessary. Um, it was it was some
that's right.
bad blood. It was some bad blood that they needed to settle the score, and the score was settled. Um, I mean, I never thought that Conor Ben could beat Eubanks anyway. Um, but I don't think they need to have a rematch. I mean, for what? I don't think Conor Ben is going to do anything different. I think he's going to do similar to what he did before. He's going to swing big shots. Eubanks is a much better boxer than he is. He couldn't land a big shot because Eubanks always saw him coming. He landed a couple of shots, but
He
when he
watched him.
was, yeah, when he was swinging for the fences, Eubanks saw them coming. Every time he swing hard, Eubanks will always move out of the way. So I mean, he caught him when he was on the inside. He caught him with a nice clean shot on the inside, but when he was swinging a big shot, he couldn't land him. And I thought Eubanks was going to end up stopping him in the last round. He had Conor Ben on the ropes, literally, and it just he didn't have no more legs under him, so he didn't have no steam behind the punches.
It's one of those rare occasions that a loss doesn't necessarily mean a loss. Conor Ben looked better than he ever did. Um, he, you think about it, he's a guy that went up two weight classes. You know, Eubank had fought as a 68, and probably that clause, you know, he probably was a little depleted in strength. But you figure he's supposed to do better against a guy that's 147. My salute to Conor Ben. It was an instant classic. Uh, it was it was really entertaining. Salute to the Brits. You know, they put on a show like no other. I mean, it was really entertaining. I think that to me, I had it a draw. I can see, you know, if you bank, I can't argue with you. 8-4, right? It was 8-4 across the board. I thought that's a little too much. I don't think anyone won 8 rounds. Tom?
Yeah, I thought the fight was close. I thought a draw would have been fair. I think it could have been draw. I had Conor Ben up 7-5. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to rewatch the fight because and D Free is gonna go next. He's probably gonna say it again. D Free had it 9-3, I think, or he might have had it 8-4 for Eubanks, and I just didn't see that. I mean, I thought that Conor made the fight the first 3 rounds at the very least, and the judges gave Eubanks 2 of the first 3 rounds when I saw the judges' scorecards. Rich Mancuso shared it, and that was the first time I saw the scorecards. I was shocked because I gave Conor the first 3 rounds. The fourth round was very close. I could see Eubanks winning the fourth, fifth, sixth, maybe the seventh, but there was a round in there that Ben hurt Eubanks, made him buckle. He definitely won that round. I want to say that was the eighth. So it was back and forth. I think Conor wasn't as disciplined. I think he went in there trying to, throw haymakers, especially those early rounds. Didn't really make adjustments. He was just, and he lost his legs too. So as much as Eubanks lost his legs, so did Conor because Conor was guns a blazing. The first 4 or 5 rounds of the fight, which he was tired. And he had to kind of conserve his energy for the later rounds. And it didn't do him no justice because the championship rounds, even though there was no title, the 11th and 12th round, Eubanks won easy. So
Yeah.
those were easy rounds to score. But I thought 6-6 would be fair. I gotta watch the fight again. A lot of people said the scores were valid. 8-4. D Free, you go ahead. You said 9-3.
Yeah, I had a 9-3 because I was judging not so much off of punches landed, but who controlled the round, who had the better defense.
Yep.
That's what I judged it off of because a lot of those rounds, if you go look at it, they landed somewhat the same amount of punches, or they threw around the same amount of punches. I think Eubanks had the cleaner shots because he kept snapping Conor Ben head back with the jab, and like I said, I judged the rounds more so off of the defense and the ring generalship and the effective aggression because Conor Ben had a lot of aggression. It just wasn't effective. It wasn't effective at all because he, like I said, he was swinging a big shot, and Eubanks saw him coming, and he will always move out of the way. So that's why I had it 9-3. I can't remember. I don't have my scorecard here with me. I can't remember what round, but I do remember I gave Chris Eubanks. I gave Conor Ben the first round. The second and third, I know I gave that to Chris Eubanks because that's when Eubanks started using his jab more. He started using his jab more in the second and third round because he knew Conor Ben was coming in throwing big punches. But the question that I have is, who you think had the advantage? Did you think Chris Eubank had the advantage being a bigger guy, but he had to come down in weight, or do you think Conor Ben had the advantage being a smaller guy and it was easier for him to put the weight on?
That's a good question.
It's a good question, and I know Pedro left a little. Pedro definitely would say that Eubanks was had the advantage, and I would say that Conor Ben had the advantage. So I think Conor Ben moving up in weight had the advantage because Eubanks, had to kill himself to make weight, and then there was a rehydration clause as well. So, and we saw him kill himself to make the weight. Literally, he didn't make the weight officially. It was a 0.05 fifth of a pound. So I think Conor had the advantage. It's just that Conor fought, with anger, I guess you want to call it. He didn't really fight discipline. He went crazy. If he would have fought more disciplined, I think we might have gotten a different fight.
And that's what I thought before the fight when I did my breakdown. I said, if Chris Eubanks can somehow get out of the earlier rounds, because Conor Ben is going to come in there with a lot of emotion and throwing big shots. If he can get out of the earlier rounds, I thought the second half would be more of his fight. If he can win a few of the earlier rounds and escape the earlier rounds without getting hurt badly or getting dropped, he could win the second half because I thought Conor Ben was going to be more spent in the second half. Now, both of them were spent, but Chris Eubanks was more under control in the second half than Conor Ben was.
Definitely. Let me read this real quick because before Sa goes. So Shower says, Eubank for me. The bigger man still had the length and still had some sting to me. And that's what Pedro would agree with you 1,000% because that's what Pedro was telling us, Sock. And before you go. And then Pedro also said that Conor should have just negotiated a 10-round fight rather than a 12-round fight, because of that. So Pedro left, he would definitely agree with you, but with both of you. I still think Conor had the advantage, but go ahead, Sock.
Well, I think a 10-round fight would have been to Conor's advantage because Conor set the pace.
Yeah.
He was the aggressor in the first few rounds. I think that Eubank was at the disadvantage, and I think in a rematch, if they do it under the same circumstances, the same rules, he's 35. That's there's 7 years difference. That is a huge difference. I think that that's why I think there's no need for a rematch. Now, you're probably gonna. The argument is, they're not. You make the most money in an immediate rematch. Not necessarily, because not all money you take. I think Eubank with that win, okay, he won the rivalry, and he could sit back. He could fight the winner of Canelo and
Skull.
No, Crawford.
No.
Oh, Crawford.
Crawford, right? Because or he can even take a fight in between. I mean, I wouldn't even take a fight in between. I just sitting. I mean, he had not fought in a year, so why not wait another year and you fight the winner of Canelo and Crawford? So I think if he had to do that rematch again under the same exact stipulations, that's bad business. I think Conor Ben would beat him. And I don't see Conor Ben ever going back down to 47. There's no way. I think when he comes back, he's going to come back at minimum at 54.
He said he want to go to 47. That's where he said he want to go.
I mean, 47. I don't 47 is easier than 54. I think if you want to win a world title. I mean, you got Mario Barrios, And I mean, now that Barrios is supposed to fight Pacquiao, that would probably be the easiest out. And then you got Norman and Ennis. And by the way, Ryan Garcia and Rowley. If Ryan, assuming he wins, is he the number one contender to Ennis?
He's the mandatory,
He's the
not the number one
mandatory.
contender. He's the mandatory. They already said if he wins, they didn't even put Rolly in the equation. They said if Ryan wins, he's the mandatory to boot.
But I tell you this: they put both of them in the rankings. They put them at 5 and 6, if I'm not mistaken. I think they literally, one of the sanction bodies put Ryan and Rolly at 5 and 6 in the rankings as of.
But
another thing is,
they're going what's his name? Devin Haney. Devin Haney is the number one contender to Mario Barrio right now. Right now, not even after the fight. Right now, they got him as the number one contender to Mario Barrio.
Yeah. So, what's up, Shower? How you doing?
Shower?
What's going on? You gonna put Sock in his place real quick, man? Because Sock be out of line. You on mute?
It's 12:15. At this time, I'm weak to women at this time. So go ahead.
I'm pissed at because he's a Haney hater. I'm just kidding. No, I was just man, I was talking about some of this last night on my channel. You guys go ahead and finish, and I'll ask.
No, go ahead. I think we were talking about Conor Benn fighting.
Yeah. Where the hell? I mean, because who do you guys really? I don't really see him getting down to 47 again. He went up to 60, right? He went up to 60.
He went up to 60. I don't see him fighting at 154. I don't think he could compete with those guys.
I don't think he can compete with anybody at 54, but then who is he going to fight?
I mean, his best bet is to stay at 60 because I think he has an easier way to get to a title at 60 because 47, he's got to drain all the way back down to 47. He's going to be spent doing that. At 54, it's much more dangerous for him. But at 60, it's really nobody there. It really ain't nobody there. You got Jennebeck and who's the other guy that's the champion? I can't even remember.
Adonis,
I know one of them. Laura.
And Laura.
And you got Laura and Jennebeck, and then you got a vacant title at 60. So he has an easy shot at 60. You can either fight Jennebeck or you can go for the vacant or you could take your chances with Laura. Now, Laura's been punching as of late, but he's still 41 years old.
There's other guys who can fight there.
And Conor Benn did not look chubby. He didn't look chubby. Like, he looks solid at that weight. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be hard for him to get back to 47. I would be shocked if he fought at 47.
Yeah, me personally, I would tell him if I was in his camp, hey, you need to stay at 60. You look good at 60. It's not a lot of competition. We got an easy route for you to get a title at 60, and you can make your name at 60. So now anybody that come up, any one of these guys that's at 54, a big name, they got to come see you at 60 instead of you going to see them.
Yeah, I just don't think he's even. I don't think he's all that, to be honest. But you got Austin Williams, Mosley Jr. I could have sworn Saras was. What are we saying, Bruno Saras?
No, he's 168.
Huh?
He's fighting Berlanga, right?
Because he fought Munguia 168.
Oh, so he went up.
He went up to fight.
Yeah, Munguia's at 68.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, I didn't know Bruno. They have him at 60 here.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
They still got him in the rankings, but he's at 68 because they still had Ryan at 35 and Ryan was at 40.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's people there for him to fight. To be honest, I don't really think I don't think he's all that anyway. Again, I don't see him going down to 47. It would be interesting to see him fight Brian Norman Jr. or who else has came into all those guys fighting this weekend are going into 47, right? So
Conor off the steroids, right?
If he could make the weight,
I didn't forget that.
if he could make
I
the
would.
weight comfortably, that would be a good fight. Brian Norman versus Conor Ben, it would be a good fight. I
If he
just
can
don't
make
know
the
how.
weight.
That's why I say if he could make
Yeah,
it comfortably, it will be a good fight. I just don't know how comfortable he can make the weight.
yeah, I don't think he does.
I mean, it'd be an interesting fight. I mean, but Brian Norman, he's already got a fight anyway. So,
Oh
next
yeah, I
month,
know.
and
Big money
160,
fight.
160 is not as, it's not like, like 147 and 160 are two divisions that are not like it used to be, right now.
No.
It's pretty weak,
Yeah,
but now after tomorrow, we get some new players at 147 because, those guys are going to be officially 147-pound fighters. So,
yeah. I
Yeah,
guess
you can add 4 more people to that 147-pound
yeah,
division.
that's what I was saying, but he's not gonna fight them either. He's food at 54, so yeah, I don't know.
I'm interested. I think they're going to go for the money and try to get that rematch. That's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to force, unless Eubanks doesn't take it. But Eubanks, I mean, he just went to the hospital too after the fight.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
he
know.
came out
I think the rematch has to happen, but with Eubanks now has a little bit more leverage because he won to maybe not do the rehydration clause or whatever. Something has
yeah.
he has to have somewhat of an advantage, not just monetarily. Because originally, remember, the father didn't even want that fight because he thought
Yeah.
the weight was going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But what would he
But-
do? 'Cause going back down to 160 is definitely not. So that's why I didn't want the rematch. I don't want to see him go through that again either. I don't really like those weight cuts like that. If he's supposed to be at 68, does he do like a catch weight somewhere in between?
Right.
And that's still going to be hard.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But they got to get rid
And
of
in
the
reality,
hydration
and
clause.
in reality, I mean, he kind of blew up to 68 because when he lost to Billy Joe Saunders, that fight was at 54. I may be wrong, but he lost to Billy Joe Saunders early in his career, and he turned pro like at 54-60. So, I mean, but like I said, he's 35 years old. I just don't think at this age it would be wise for him to try to do that at 160 again. But if you put the fight in a time capsule, it was a classic fight. To me, it's the early candidate for fight of the year. They really showed out. Two nepo babies, who I think were not that good, but they still lived up to the hype. I mean, it's gonna be hard to top that going forward. I got it. My hats off. It was a great production, and both guys lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't like the most technical, but like it
No,
was
definitely
super
not.
exciting. It was very heartfelt. I did. I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought it was.
I mean,
Who
Eubanks
who
made
did?
some adjustments in the
If you
middle.
didn't enjoy it, what the hell do you want? I don't think you get that type of fight between two American fighters.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? Why the fuck are you watching boxing if you don't enjoy that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Kill yourself.
No
Kill
comment.
yourself.
If you like boxing and you
Kill
like
yourself.
big punching,
Equivalent.
there's no way you shouldn't have liked that fight. There's no way you
Yeah.
shouldn't have liked that
I don't
fight.
think that's the problem, and I think
Right.
there was some technical stuff done by Eubanks. He was timing Connor for the up on the with those uppercuts, like the counters. I thought he did those pretty well. I mean, he make adjustments. Connor Ben really didn't make no adjustments in the fight.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It
I
was
think
wild.
he made adjustments. Yeah, but Connor Ben, to me, I mean, I think we all agree Connor Ben is not that good as advertised.
Conor
Right?
Ben is like he's like a British version of daggone Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz.
Oh,
He's
Lord.
not gonna make no adjustments. He's gonna come straight at you.
Yeah.
That's what Virgil Ortiz
But,
does.
no, I
Virgil
didn't
Virgil
Ortiz
Ortiz may be the best
like
hit
Virgil
before that.
Ortiz like that, but I give Virgil Ortiz. We saw him make adjustments fighting Magic Man.
No,
I thought
he
that was
might be
one of
the
he
the best Virgils I've seen.
the only adjustment
Virgil
he
might be the
made
best hit before in the world.
the only adjustment he
watch
made
him
with
out.
Magnum off was he stepped on the gas. He didn't change his fighting style. He just stepped on the gas.
No. Well, he ain't gonna change his fighting style. Nobody
That's what I'm
doing
saying. But when I talk about adjustment,
adjustment.
I'm talking
I
about
get it.
changing your style.
Right, right.
If you coming forward and it's not working, I need to see you be able to use your boxing ability because the coming forward style is not
I ain't
working.
gonna be able to do that. But
So
I get what you're saying. I could see somebody making adjustments from fight to fight, or if you're studying your next opponent, making those type of adjustments. And yeah, I get what you're saying. So I agree. I agree with that. So,
yeah.
but
I mean,
I usually don't like Virgil. I don't.
now see,
I don't
like I can understand if the people didn't like Conor Bennett, they didn't like Chris Eubanks as a fighter, but to say you didn't like that fight that they put on, I don't know what what boxing match you watched this year that you did like because that fight
Thank
was
you,
better
D.
than all the fights I've seen this year.
Thank you,
Wow.
D. I appreciate that. That's
Real
exactly.
quick, let me
What you want?
let me just read this real quick. Rich Mancuso. So I guess he got media approval for tomorrow. This is where they're putting him. And I heard this because Johnny Boy was telling me something like this earlier. So his media section tomorrow night is at Grump's Shrimp House on 44th Street. It's become a joke. Turkey knows nothing about media arrangements. Wow. So they're putting media for the fight at certain, I guess certain locations, restaurants, bars, Plaza One, like Johnny Boy was telling me the same thing. That's so Rich, if you're still there, can you just type and say, are you able to see the ring from where that's at? Like
You must go be. If they probably gonna have you watching it on a screen.
yeah, so then that's no
That's
point.
what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead, guys.
So that it's getting worse by the minute. It's
Yeah.
getting worse.
I'll be sitting on my couch about 22 inches away from my fridge. You know, so yeah,
That's
the
why it's
beer will
getting
be
worse
on
by
deck.
the minute. Like that. So the media's not even going to be at the ringside. It's only going to be the people that's invited.
They probably got selective media that's going to be ringside.
Yeah, they're going to have Showbiz, the adult, and probably two other guys.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's silly.
Crazy.
That's
Blue? Maybe Blue, huh? Because they were hanging out. I don't know.
Yeah, but
so he says no screens and hope free food, or I'm leaving and heading to Yankee Stadium. Oh man, that's the Yankees are playing. Wow, the Yankees are here too, and wow.
I'm watching the Boston Celtics.
No, we're playing Monday.
No, I ain't talking about tomorrow. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking about the future. I'm watching the Boston Celtics go for their second championship in a row because I don't see nobody in the East beating them.
Well, we don't want that to happen because we don't like the Celtics except Sock. So
I like the Celtics. I like the Celtics because they got one of my Dookies on the squad, Jason Tatum.
I just want to go back to one comment that Sock made and see how he believes this is true. This is valid or true. He said, "You said Virgil Ortiz is the best guy at 154."
I say he might be. Yes.
You think so?
No, I think until somebody dethrone Bartram, I saw what he did to Tim Zoo. I ain't seen nobody else do that to Tim Zoo.
Rocky is easy to beat. It's just he hasn't met the right one.
Yeah.
That's sure.
Well, ain't nobody calling for that man. He got a belt. Ain't nobody calling for him.
There's a lot of good guys at one.
I mean, he beat Belichick. I mean, that fight could have gone either way. And then, I mean, he beat what's his name? Yes, probably more convincing than Terrence Crawford. I mean, I've always liked Virgil Ortiz, going back when he was 47. You know, you look at his resume. I mean, Mean Machine. I mean, I think he's a really good fighter. I mean, I wish we would have got the fight with him and the Armenian guy. What's his name? The guy that Innes just beat.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Stanionis. Yeah.
Yeah, about twice he got postponed.
What did you think about him in the Sergey Boychuk piece? What did you think about that fight? Virgil and Sergey.
Which one?
I thought Virgil won, but I would have had no problem with a draw. I mean, it was a great fight. Yeah. Has Boychuk fought since that fight?
No, he's about to fight Atlantis Fox.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I thought he did have a fight a while ago.
Did he? I don't like that for Atlantis. I feel bad for him. He doesn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the fight that Virgil had before he fought Magdalene?
I mean, you still got Fundora, obviously, right? You can't forget about Fundora. You know,
And nobody likes Xander.
Hey,
I don't think he's on
when they
that
about
level.
to,
Oh,
Xander about to
Xander.
be a champion. I told y'all that.
He's
I
a
told you
champion,
Fedor
right?
was not going to fight Xander. I told y'all Fedor was not going to fight Xander.
You know that
Xander,
us Puerto
don't
Ricans
want
that
that smoke.
we're just beasting for another world champion. So let us live.
I'm not mad, but it's gonna be an easy champion.
I mean, what the hell did I know? Because I thought that the kid that got upset, the Golden Boy fighter from Ohio, I thought he was going to be.
Oh, Charles Conwell,
You're a Conwell guy. You
He had
thought
a bad
Conwell
night.
was the best.
He had a bad
Yeah.
night.
What did I tell you, Thomas? I said I got to see more of him because I saw one fight and I saw the second fight.
Yeah.
That man looks regular. He looks
did.
regular.
Oh, which
Everybody
fight?
was
I think he had-
hyping him
I
up.
think he had an
Hold
off
on,
night.
Jeffrey. This dude come forward. He got power. He likes to work the body. I saw none of that.
On which fight? The last one against Jorge, or the fight before that?
Well, the fight against the fight against Perez, the last fight, I thought he had an off night.
He did have an off
I
night.
think Conwell's the goods. You know, I wanted to see more as well. Sock was a big Conwell fan.
I'm a huge
So I was a huge Conwell fan as well. You know, but you see how Sock turns on him quick after one loss. He already knows
I mean, he was a considerable favorite. You know,
A happy favorite.
You think
But you
so?
know what?
I think Oscar was doing him a little dirty, and I think it's funny that once
dirty.
I think
No,
once
because I
Perez
think it's
beat
fair.
him, all of a
I
sudden
said
he
the
gets
same
the
thing.
shot.
No, what Shaw was about to say, I said the same thing. We've seen guys have off nights, still get a decision or a draw, and and nobody ever talks about it. Like we talk about it, it's easily forgotten.
It's
But
something else too.
in this case, the house fighter didn't get the call. And in some cases, we've seen that where guys have off nights.
Before that fight, I looked at the rankings. They dropped him the night before that fight. They dropped him.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Guys have off nights. The problem with that is this is a guy who hasn't been getting the exposure. So you're supposed to be on the top of your game every time you get in that ring because you haven't been getting the exposure. So this was your opportunity for the world to see you, and you laid an egg. And now you go to the bottom of the barrel. You go back to the bottom of the barrel. They waited for him to expose at first.
I don't think you go to the bottom of the barrel. I think you go to the middle because before, I mean, a loss did not define you. You know what I mean? Especially when you're a young fighter.
I'm not saying that it does. I'm saying the promoter that he has was not promoting him. Now they gave him an opportunity, and like I said, he laid an egg. They're going to put him back at the bottom of the barrel because Oscar doesn't promote black fighters like that.
That's what I was saying the whole time, is that Oscar really was not trying to promote him, because if you recall the fight before this one, he said he wanted Reggie Ortiz, and when he said that, Oscar and B-Hop were in the ring, and they were like, yeah, dude.
You promote who you think has the most money earning potential. You know, I mean, Conwell's from Ohio, right?
Yeah, but who's to say? Who knew we was gonna have an off night? Like, that's just.
I mean,
let me ask you something.
So
look what happened, right? Fundura's now going to fight Tim Tszyu because Keith Thurman priced himself out, right? Because that was going to happen. Now Fundura was supposed to fight Xander. He's dropping the strap. So now that fight, that belt is vacant, and who goes in? The guy that beat Conwell to fight Xander, right? That's the man. That's the fight. Now, if Conwell would have won, would Conwell have gotten that opportunity?
No. Yeah, he would. That's my point. I don't believe
that's the WBO, right? That's the WBO, right?
Yes.
But the WBO is always slanted towards the Puerto Rican. You got to remember that. So Xander was going to be there regardless.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying,
Yeah, but would Conwell have gotten that fight?
would Conwell be the other guy?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, I think Golden Boy would push it because Xander is not Golden Boy's fighter. Why
You
wouldn't
know
they push it?
Because right before Conwell fought, Oscar was making comments about, yeah, because he's climbing the ladder, and it's like you can actually just give him some better competition. He could have, but it's like he's just like throwing Conwell a bone. That's personally how I was feeling.
I'm shocked.
No, but
I'm shocked
I
they didn't
agree
put
with
Virgil.
I agree with Sock though, because if Conwell would have won that fight, Oscar don't want to just give the belt to Xander because that gives another belt to Bob. So now he has an opportunity where he's like, hey, my fighter just won, your fighter just won. They both right there. Let's go ahead and make this fight. Whoever come out on top, they're the champion. But by him not winning, now it's pretty much giving Bob the fight because this dude is not promoted by nobody like that.
They should have put. Why didn't they get Virgil Ortiz?
Because Virgil
Xander.
Virgil said
that's a big fight.
Virgil needs to beat the shit out of Xander.
Virgil wants a soft touch. He's saying his next fight.
He stopped Xander.
Well, that's what Oscar said. Virgil wants a soft touch. Virgil has never came out to negate that. So, and then you have what's his not Sonny. What's the other guy's name with the IBF?
Well, I tell you this. They did send an offer. Virgil sent the offer to Xander, and Xander accepted. But Virgil went to go fight Magnumov instead.
Okay, so Bachram wants a title shot. He wants He wants a unification.
That's the Russian. The Russian that's with
Magnumov, right? He wants it. So he could have fought Virgil. He could have fought Virgil, or who had the two Sebastian had the two belts. But Virgil said he wants a soft touch next, so he's not gonna fight. He's not gonna fight Xander unless he has a change of heart all of a sudden, which can happen. It's just so much stuff.
Who's not gonna fight Xander? You talking about Virgil?
Not if he wants a soft touch, because he said he's been fighting hard fights. This is what Oscar said. Virgil never came out and negated that, though.
Yeah, right.
I really wish Virgil would just fight somebody.
I don't think he wants that fight with Xander because, like I said, they offered Xander a fight. Xander accepted it. They decided to go fight Magnumov instead. It probably was a bigger money fight. But you sent the offer to him and you gave him an hour to accept it. Well, he said he accepted within 10 minutes, and then they went to go fight Magnumov instead.
That was a bigger platform too. Remember, it was a Riyadh season 2, so it was probably a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. It might have been more money. I don't know if it was a bigger platform because you're fighting on ESPN. I don't think it's a bigger I don't think DAZN is bigger than ESPN. Well, I know it's not bigger.
Yeah, maybe not, but I think Riyadh gets it's getting a lot of looks. But either way, Virgil is not going to fight any of those guys, I guess. And I don't know what the heck
Virgil about to fight Conwell.
You think so?
Let me see if I could add this.
They just saw him fight that dude. They said he lost to that dude. He won the Virgil fight. All right, Virgil, we said we're gonna give you a light.
Come on, man, Oscar. Yeah, let him come back. Let him come back and rub Virgil's. I ain't trying to cuss on this man show. Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't really think there is a light test at 54.
I don't think so.
I can't think of nobody right now that's a light test.
I can go down the line, but yeah, I guess it could be once you really get low. Tim Tszyu.
Let me play this video for you guys.
That ain't no light test. He might win, but it ain't no light test.
Let me hold on one second. I'm gonna play this video.
Richmond. Okay, I don't agree with that. Joey Spencer too.
Hold on. So yesterday at the press conference, Victor he got to talk to Virgil Ortiz. Hold on. This is what he said about the Xander situation.
See, look, it can happen. So here's why we had a little bit of a problem before, was because he was saying that I was ducking him. When I did say yes to him, I said yes to everyone that they mentioned. Imagine someone saying, would you fight this guy? I said, yeah. What about this one? Yeah. So I did say yes to him, but then they said, scratch all that, you want to fight Majimov? And I said yes, as I said yes to everyone else, and then I fought Majimov. But then you got Xander Zayas saying, "Oh, I ducked him." Yeah. When it wasn't in my control in the first place. I said, "Yeah," but that's what he doesn't know. He doesn't understand. He's young. And that's fine. But don't.
It's not just young. It's just.
But this is the problem that I had. This is the problem that I had with that. He was the one that sent the offer to Xander.
Well, he doesn't send the offer. His team does.
No, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. His team sent the offer to Xander. Xander didn't send the offer to him. Xander is the upcoming star. Virgil is already the star. So Oscar sent the offer to Xander. They gave him an hour to accept it. He accepted it. Somehow they chose to go fight Magnumov instead of fighting Xander.
Sometimes they have a lot of pots on the iron. I mean, it just is what it is. That's how negotiations be going. I think it's us that get involved and start calling people ducks and making assumptions. A lot of times they'll have a lot of offers out there.
That's the reason why Xander said he ducked him, because when he got the offer, Xander accepted it, and then he turned around and he fought Magnumov instead. So that's why he said he ducked him.
I would have fought Magnumov too if it was more money. I ain't gonna.
No, I mean, like I said, I understand why he did it. Yeah. But if I was Xander, I would say he ducked me too. You sent me an offer, I accepted, and now you find somebody else. I would say, yeah, you ducked me too.
I think eventually we're gonna see the fight. I mean, they have to make it. They got the Mexican-Puerto Rican rivalry. It's got to be made eventually. So I guess. Let Xander go. Xander should win this fight. You know, you get Xander a title, his first title, and then let Virgil do something. And you know, eventually it's got to be made. Virgil's been around a little bit longer. You know, he had the health problems and stuff. So I think eventually that fight could be made. I mean, there's fights to be made at 154.
A whole bunch, man. Good fight.
That's a good fight though. Xander versus Ortiz. I don't know who wins that fight. I'm going to be rooting for Xander, but I don't know who wins that fight.
Sock knows who's going to win because he hates Xander.
I know he does, but I'm a root for my Puerto Rican brothers. I'm a root for my Puerto Rican brothers.
I don't hate him.
Nah, but to be fair, Sock has been there and with me at the Xander fight, and we weren't really impressed with Xander. I like Xander, but he's not that guy that people want to believe he is right now. I think we want more of Xander, and he's not that, at least not yet. You know, I think that's the best way of putting it.
The boy is 22 years old.
Yeah, I didn't realize he had 100 rounds already.
Yeah.
He started fighting at 17 or 16. It was either 16 or 17. He started fighting.
Maybe it's the baby face. Maybe it's the baby face or something. I don't know.
I mean, and then I think he's gonna outgrow that weight. He'll be eventually at 162. I don't see Xander at 154 long either. So
you don't? I do. But he's still 22. Maybe a few more years, no?
I give him
possibly.
I mean, it all depends on how his body grows, because he's just now starting to come into manhood.
Yeah.
He turned 22. And his body is about to start growing, because his body start filling out. The closer he get to 25, his body start filling out. So it all depends on how fast his body grows out. Because we saw Devin Haney, he went to 40, had two fights, and that man has already grew out of 40.
True. Yeah, that's true. I was about to ask you guys something about men. Because women get to 18, we generally start growing out. We don't. It's no more getting taller. You just gonna start filling out. I thought guys kind of stopped around 21, but sometimes you still hear stuff like, "Oh, you just got into a man strength," and it's like, dude, you're 23, 4.
Yeah, it used to be 21. It used to be 21, but now they say men continue growing until they 25.
I can see that.
And for a long time it was until they were 21. but they saw so many men had actually had spurts after they turned 21 that they gave it to 25 now. So now it's until men are 25 when they stop growing.
Well, that didn't happen with me. I tell you that much.
Nah, because I remember, I think it was David Robinson when he went to the Naval Academy. He went in, I think they said he was like 6'2", 6'3", but by the time he left the Naval Academy, he was 7 foot.
And how old was he?
He was there for like
4 years. I think he did the whole thing.
I want to say 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Stretched out.
Yeah, because he went in like 6'2", 6'3". When he graduated, he was 7 foot.
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna close up shop and see, because tomorrow I got to work in the morning at the least. I got a meeting, and then I'll see what I'm gonna do tomorrow. But the sounds of it, it's no point in going to this press conference to this fight now that Rich Mancuso said there's no ringside media. So
they might have your press tickets at the hookah bar right there on the corner.
Shit.
Tom is gonna walk into the hookah bar and gonna say, "Tom is right here."
Listen up, guys. I'm gonna close up, but I'm gonna let you know we got interviews lined up Saturday. I got a couple of prospects they're gonna interview. It should be fun. They all train out of the same gym as Keith Cologne, so I just gotta pick a time. It should be cool. These good young kids. One kid got a nice little story. He's gonna tell us about it. He went to school and put boxing on hold, and he played football and got his degree. We already know about Keith. He's still in school. He's about to graduate. And then Josiah Kirkpatrick's another guy. So it should be fun. I got another guy that we're gonna interview next week. He was in Devin Haney's camp, most of the camp in Big Bear. Devin Haney fond of him and had him. That's Edmund Aponte of Orlando, Florida. So we got some interviews coming up. Ishe Smith wants to come on with us on Saturday night to recap the fights. He said he'll do it. So yeah. So we got some things coming up. It'll be a little bit more structured, I guess. Shower, you're always welcome to come up. I think you bring a good energy to it rather than Dub. Dub tells us Dub always scolds us. Dub always scolds us. I like Dub. Dub is great. I think Dub is excellent, but he's always telling us out of order. So, but I'll let you guys know. I mean, I think Saturday's going to be cool. We got these kids coming in. I don't know how I'm going to do it. If I'm going to do 3 different videos or one live and bring them apart and then put them together because they all know each other. I'm gonna talk to Keith Cologne's father tomorrow and see how he wants to do it. So, Sock, you got to let me know what time you're available because you're the busiest man in the world.
Okay, I'll let you know.
All right. I know you got Pedro the show at 2, so maybe we could do 3 o'clock.
3 works. Yeah.
That means
I'm free whenever.
That means 3 o'clock D Free and whoever else because Sock.
You got the Kentucky Derby. I had some last minute handicapping.
I haven't watched the Kentucky Derby in years.
I love horse race. I love horse race.
Good night, you guys.
Right? Let me tell you something. It's hard to get Saad because he's always busy, right? Working, training somebody, whatever. But if the Celtics are playing, no shot. If the Red Sox are playing, no shot. So
priorities.
It's okay. Priorities. You got to do it.
Monday, we start the series against the bum ass Knicks, and we end their dream.
Wow.
Oh man. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on Shower. It's always great to see you.
Always good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And dealing with Pedro and Sock. So but Sock, this was great. This was good. Pedro was very entertaining tonight. So
all right, peace.
All right. Let me close out. Things I gotta do. We'll talk tomorrow.
Peace.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys coming through. Those that stuck with us to the late night. midnight after hours. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back most likely Saturday. I don't think I'm going live tomorrow night. That's why we came on tonight. But definitely Saturday. We got some interviews lined up, and then Saturday night. So I got some guests coming on. Some professional guests, as in former professional fighters and current professional fighters. So you guys take care, and we'll catch you on the next one. Good night, y'all.